Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales. Chapter 38:10. Kang Xinmu did not expect that the black granite man was already pregnant. At this moment, there were a few small black granite men in front of him. Each of them was about the size of a piglet. They were walking in the dense forest with difficulty. Before they were fully born, their mothers would have been killed by Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning. These small black granite men did not have much combat power. Even if Kang Xinmu did not care about them, they would not live for long. Do you want to raise them? Jiang Yuaning came over to take a look. She felt that these small black granite men were pitiful, so she asked. Kang Xinmu shook his head. We can't even guarantee our own survival and development. How can we raise them? In the Jiang clan, there were people who chose to raise some demon beasts. Some demon beasts were easier to raise and were mostly used as mounts. There was no need for these demon beasts to help them in battle. As for these small black granite men, other than fighting, they were useless. As mounts, they were not fast. Of course, the most important thing was that Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning were in the process of demon-slaying training. How could they have the time to care about these little guys? Although they were pitiful, these small black granite men could only fend for themselves. Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning would not kill these small black granite men. After all, it was useless to kill them. They did not have the earth demon's demon core in their bodies, so they could not add points to the demon-slaying training. The two shook their heads and turned to leave. They were ready to find other earth demons to hunt. After all, it was the demon-slaying training period. The two did not want to waste time. Jiang Yuaning's words were just a spur of the moment. She thought about it carefully and knew that it was impossible to raise these small black granite men. To be honest, these small black granite men were quite cute. Each of them was clumsy, but unfortunately, they were useless to Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning. The two of them continued forward. Not long after, they heard a loud noise coming from up ahead, causing the two of them to be on guard. They quickly put the matter of the little black rock golem to the back of their minds and focused all their attention on what was ahead. From the looks of it, there seemed to be a verbal conflict between the two sides of the dragon warriors. It's someone from our Grand Supreme Palace. Jiang Yuaning's expression changed slightly when she heard that. She could tell that one of the two forces arguing in front of her was the dragon martial artist from the Grand Lord's mansion, and it was a 5-man team. That 5-man squad was made up of dragon martial artists who had inherited the blood essence of mortal dragons. Logically speaking, their strength should not be very strong. How could they have come to this area where the 4th layer of earth demons roamed? If they were to encounter a 4th layer earth demon, this team of 5 would probably be completely annihilated. Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning did not act rashly. Instead, they hid to the side and quietly listened to the situation. Soon, they discovered that the person who had a conflict with the Grand Prince's mansion team was Jiang Qingyun from the Jiang clan East Mansion. Jiang Qingyun was the guy who obtained the blood essence of the true dragon's inheritance. Kang Xinmu remembered him because when Kang Xinmu first obtained the blood essence of the true dragon's inheritance, Jiang Qingyun was the first to mock him, as if he had some grudge with him. But in fact, Kang Xinmu had nothing to do with this guy. Obviously, Jiang Qingyun was jealous of Kang Xinmu's limelight in the past. So when Kang Xinmu hit rock bottom, he couldn't wait to step on Kang Xinmu. This kind of attitude made Kang Xinmu have no good impression of him. At this moment, Jiang Qingyun brought 2 other dragon martial artists who were followers of the true dragon's inheritance and had a conflict with the 5-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion. It seemed to be because of an earth demon prey. At the beginning, the 5-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion found a lone 4th layer earth demon. Halfway through the battle, Jiang Qingyun brought people over and forcefully snatched it away. The earth demon's monster core was also taken. At that time, most of the five-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion were already seriously injured. It was already difficult for them to deal with the fourth-layer Earth Demon, but in the end, it was snatched away. One could imagine the resentment in their hearts. But to Jiang Qingyun, this kind of behavior was nothing. After all, there was no rule in the demon-slaying experiential training that prohibited people from snatching other people's prey. It just prohibited people from killing each other. Jiang Qingyun did not attack the five-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion, so why should he be afraid? Therefore, Jiang Qingyun brought two people with him and directly snatched away the monster core of the fourth-layer Earth Demon. Then, the five-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion risked their serious injuries to stop them from leaving. They would only let them go if they handed over the monster core of the fourth-layer Earth Demon. Through some gaps in the dense forest, Kang Xinmu looked at the scene and found that among the five-man squad from the Grand Lord's mansion, one of them had actually advanced to the second layer of the Dragon Ascension realm. No wonder this five-man squad dared to come to the place where the fourth-layer Earth Demon roams. But after encountering the fourth-layer Earth Demon, they were all seriously injured, and in the end, the spoils of war were still snatched away by Jiang Qingyun. Kang Xinmu had a rough idea of the cause and effect of the scene. From the first layer to the second layer of the Dragon Ascension realm, the strength would increase a lot, and the innate talent of the dragon martial artist would also be enhanced. This gave them the courage to go deep into the area where the fourth-layer Earth Demon roamed. It turned out that with a dragon martial artist at the second layer of the Dragon Ascension realm, they could indeed kill the fourth-layer Earth Demon, but they also suffered a lot of losses. Without exception, all 5 members of the squad were seriously injured. At this moment, the youth at the second layer of the Dragon Ascension realm, with a seriously injured body, directly grabbed Jiang Qingyun's heel, not letting him leave. This caused Jiang Qingyun and his 2 lackeys to constantly curse. "Quickly let go, brat. That Earth Demon's monster core is something we obtained. Since it's in our hands, it's impossible to spit it out. If you don't let go, I'll inform our tribe elders to come over," Jiang Qingyun said fiercely. Every dragon martial artist who participated in the demon-slaying training would receive a flaming explosion scroll before entering the sky-driving forest. They would also receive a firework bomb. This firework bomb was red in color, and once it was released, the nearby Jiang clan patrollers would quickly rush over. The meaning of the firework bomb was that someone had attacked their own people and needed support. Without a doubt, if Jiang Qingyun were to release the firework bomb now, the Jiang clan patrollers would definitely treat the youth from the Grand Lord's mansion as a criminal who had attacked their own people and would punish him. Chapter 38:11. Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning hid in the shadows. Seeing the situation, they did not know what to do. The Earth Demon's core was in Jiang Qingyun's hands. It was impossible to get him to spit it out. Since that was the case, there was no need to continue. If this continued, the one to suffer would be the youth from the Grand Faction. He dares to bully the people of our Grand Faction. How dare he? Jiang Yuaning gritted her teeth. Her heart was filled with anger. She did not expect Jiang Qingyun to be so shameless. He took advantage of the opportunity to snatch away the Earth Demon's core. But there were many shameless people, including Jiang Cheng, who had attacked Kang Xinmu. That thunder-slaying true dragon was even more shameless. Not only did he want to snatch the core, he even wanted to kill Kang Xinmu. Fortunately, Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning were strong. Otherwise, they would have been killed by Jiang Cheng. Now, there was another Jiang Qingyun. But compared to Jiang Cheng, Jiang Qingyun's actions were slightly better. At least he did not want to kill the 5 people from the Grand Faction. But it was also possible that he did not dare to attack them because they were a 5-man team. Back then, Jiang Cheng had attacked Kang Xinmu because he was alone. Even if he died, it would not cause too much of a stir in the Jiang tribal clan. But now, it was a 5-man team. Although they were only inheritors of the mortal dragon blood essence, they had elders. If the 5 of them died, the Jiang tribal clan would definitely investigate. Because of this, Jiang Qingyun held back. From this point, it could be seen that Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Cheng were the same kind of people. It's best to remind him to let it go. Kang Xinmu frowned and said softly to Jiang Yuaning, since Jiang Qingyun has treated our grand faction this way, we can give him a tooth for a tooth, and give him a taste of his own medicine. How about this? I'll hide in the shadows and follow them. Once they encounter any demon beast, I'll take the core away. Sure, but you must be careful. Jiang Yuaning nodded, but she was still worried about Kang Xinmu. Don't worry, I'm just trying to steal the demonic core. They won't dare to do anything to me. Even if they do, I might not necessarily lose to them. Kang Xinmu was now very confident. After devouring Jiang Cheng's Thunder Slayer True Dragon, his strength had at least doubled. If he were to face a true dragon again, his chances of winning would be much higher. Alright, let's get moving then. Shall we meet here at night? I'll lead the 5 of them to kill some demon beasts first. It should be more efficient. Jiang Yuaning asked. We'll meet up here at night. We'll kill the earth demon together. Kang Xinmu nodded. A dragon martial artist's memory was definitely very good. They could remember all the paths they had taken in a day. Therefore, if Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning were to separate now, it would be very easy for them to meet at the same place in the evening as long as there were no accidents. Stop! Jiang Yuaning called out and took a step forward at the same time. Her slender figure appeared in front of Jiang Qingyun and the others. Jiang Qingyun's eyes narrowed slightly when he saw Jiang Yuaning. He was a little surprised, and there was a playful look in his eyes. It's your people who should stop. Jiang Yuaning, why don't you take a look at what your people are doing? Jiang Qingyun said playfully. At this moment, his legs were being hugged tightly by the young man from the Grand Prince Palace. If it was just an ordinary Earth Demon core, they would have given up on it. However, this 4th Heaven Earth Demon core was very meaningful to them because it was the first Earth Demon they had killed together. Moreover, they were all seriously injured because of it. Who would be willing to let their hard-earned spoils of war be snatched away just like that? The young man from the Grand Prince Palace finally heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Jiang Yuaning. He was so tired that he couldn't even speak. He could only cling tightly to Jiang Qingyun's legs, not letting him go. Alright, Jiang Haisheng, let go. It's just a monster core of a 4th layer Earth Demon. There's no need to go to such lengths. Jiang Yuaning sighed and walked up to the young man from the Grand Prince's mansion. The young man in the 2nd layer of the Dragon Ascension realm was called Jiang Haisheng. His father had a certain level of strength in the Jiang clan. Because of this, he was able to obtain many elixirs and step into the 2nd layer of the Dragon Ascension realm. At this moment, when he heard Jiang Yuaning's words, he almost doubted his own ears. Jiang Yuaning actually wanted him to let go? Just a 4th layer Earth Demon's demon core? But before he could say anything, Jiang Yuaning whispered in his ear, let go first. I've already thought of a way to deal with Jiang Qingyun. Trust me. Usually in the Grand Prince Palace, Jiang Yuaning could be said to be the most authoritative person. Now that she said it, it was quite believable. Jiang Haisheng trusted Jiang Yuaning very much. After hearing her words, he finally let go of his tightly clasped hands without any hesitation. At least you know what's good for you. Seeing this, Jiang Qingyun loosened his legs and hopped 2 steps on the spot. He then turned around and waved his hand, then I'll take my leave. Jiang Yuaning, I wish the Grand Prince's palace good results in this demon-slaying experience, There was a hint of sarcasm in his words. Without a doubt, no one thought that the Grand Prince Palace would do well this time. However, Jiang Yuaning was now sure that in this demon-slaying experience, the Grand Prince Palace would either be first or second. It was all because of Kang Shinmu's existence. Even though Kang Shinmu had only inherited the blood essence of a mortal dragon, the devouring power was too special. Its special effects sometimes even surpassed that of a heavenly dragon's inheritor. At least, a heavenly dragon's inheritor needed rest. He couldn't hunt earth demons day and night, but she and Kang Shinmu could. Jiang Qingyun left. Jiang Haisheng struggled to stand up with the support of a large tree. He looked at Jiang Yuaning in confusion and struggled to ask softly, "Yuaning, why did you let him leave? Didn't you see that the 5 of us were seriously injured in order to deal with that earth demon?" The demon core was taken by Jiang Qingyun. "We can't accept this. Don't worry, Kang Shinmu has already followed them. As long as they hunt down all the earth demons' demon cores, they will be taken by Kang Shinmu. This time, their East Prefecture can forget about getting a good ranking." Jiang Yuaning's eyes were cold. Chapter 38:12. Seeing that Jiang Yuaning trusted Kang Shinmu so much, Jiang Haisheng felt that it was absurd. Did he hear it wrong? Let Kang Shinmu, that kid, track down Jiang Qingyun and take away all the earth demons' monster dawn that Jiang Qingyun had obtained? Kang Shinmu, didn't he just obtain the inheritance blood essence of an ordinary dragon? Although I won't look down on him, it's too difficult for him to take away the prey from Jiang Qingyun's hands. Jiang Haisheng said in a deep voice, "Could it be that Kang Shinmu has already stepped into the 3rd layer of Dragon Ascension Realm?" After thinking about it, he could only think of this possibility. After all, Jiang Haisheng had reached the 2nd layer of Dragon Ascension Realm, so it was normal for a genius like Kang Shinmu to reach the 3rd layer of Dragon Ascension Realm. However, he was wrong. Jiang Yuaning shook her head and said to him, "You can rest assured, Kang Shinmu is not as weak as you think. He has not reached the 3rd layer of Dragon Ascension Realm, not even the 2nd layer of Dragon Ascension Realm, but I fought side by side with him the day before, so I know very well what level he can reach, so you can rest assured. Now, recuperate, can you still fight? I brought healing medicinal pills, in a little more than 2 hours, everyone should be able to recover more than half." Jiang Haisheng nodded. Since Jiang Yuaning had said that she believed in Kang Shinmu, he did not dwell on this matter. Now that they had met up with Jiang Yuaning, there was no doubt that they could continue to hunt more earth demons. Although he was unwilling to let Jiang Qingyun go, the most important thing was obviously to hunt more earth demons and obtain more earth demons' monster dawn. Only in this way, the people of the Grand Prince's mansion could cultivate a stronger dragon martial skill. As for Kang Shinmu, Jiang Haisheng really did not have any hope. To be able to delay Jiang Qingyun and let them get one less earth demon's monster dawn is already a great fortune. As for letting him snatch the monster dawn from Jiang Qingyun? How is that possible? Of course, Jiang Haisheng didn't say this out loud. He just hid it in his heart. His father was, after all, an elder of the Jiang clan. For this demon-slaying experience, he had prepared a lot of things. He had brought a lot of healing elixirs. Now, it was just the right time for the team to consume them. After about 2 hours, they would be able to recover about 70 to 80% of their battle strength. Seeing Jiang Haisheng and the rest consume healing elixirs, Jiang Yuaning felt that this situation was a little strange. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly. She recalled that when she was with Kang Shinmu, she didn't need healing elixirs. Kang Shinmu only needed to use his devouring power to devour the power of the earth and the earth phase demon core to heal and recover. This ability was really heaven-defying. Anyway, Jiang Yuaning had never heard of the existence of a dragon martial artist with such an ability. On the other side, Jiang Haisheng and Jiang Yuaning formed a new team and prepared to hunt the Earth Fae for a day. As for Kang Shinmu, he followed closely behind Jiang Qingyun and the other two. They were about 100 feet away from each other, so that Jiang Qingyun wouldn't notice them. In the jungle, Kang Xinmu was already very familiar with it. It was not something a newbie like Jiang Qingyun could compare with. Jiang Qingyun had a strong background in the Jiang clan. His father was one of the Jiang clan's elders, so he had a lot of spiritual elixirs and healing elixirs. However, it was more difficult for a true dragon martial artist to improve his martial arts realm compared to an ordinary dragon. Therefore, Jiang Qingyun had not broken through to the second level of the Dragon Ascension realm. When Kang Xinmu thought of this, he felt that there was something wrong with him. According to reason, he should have improved faster than others, but now he didn't feel the slightest improvement. Not to mention a breakthrough, there was no improvement at all. This made him a little anxious. Could it be that it was more difficult for him to improve his realm than others? Did this mean that the Black Dragon's inherited blood essence was more powerful than other sky dragons? Kang Xinmu didn't have any expectations for this. His mind wasn't on this. He had to keep a close eye on Jiang Qingyun in front of him, and he couldn't let him discover any clues. His first attack had to be fast, accurate, and ruthless. He had to succeed in one strike. Jiang Qingyun and his two lackeys really didn't realize that they were being followed by Kang Xinmu. They were proud of the fact that they had just snatched a 4th-level Earth Phase monster core, and even Jiang Yuaning had appeared and let him leave. "Boss, that Jiang Yuaning couldn't have taken a fancy to you, right?" "Huh. That's right. Isn't it rumored that she likes to meddle in other people's business? As long as someone bullies someone from the Grand Supreme Palace, she won't let them off easily. Now she's letting us go without saying a word." Huh. His two lackeys kept flattering Jiang Qingyun, which made him enjoy it very much. "How would I know? But even if that girl has taken a fancy to me, there's no way I'll accept her. My father found me an elder's daughter from a neighboring tribe. I heard that she's as beautiful as a fairy, tsk. As Jiang Qingyun spoke, he felt that this world was very wonderful. He couldn't wait to meet the elder's daughter from the neighboring tribe. Marriage is one thing, but if Jiang Yuaning really has taken a fancy to you, boss, there's no harm in playing around. Huh, how could ordinary people like us have such a chance?" One of the lackeys said flatteringly. Kang Xinmu had a ridiculous feeling as he listened to their conversation. Where did these three guys get their confidence from? How could they think that Jiang Yuaning would fall for Jiang Qingyun? It was simply inexplicable. Weren't they feeling a little too good about themselves? Kang Xinmu didn't think too much about it. He followed them closely and continued forward. Soon, another beast nest appeared in front of them. This time, there was a 4th-layer Earth Demon and 3 3rd-layer Earth Demons. This situation made Kang Xinmu's heart skip a beat. How would Jiang Qingyun deal with such a situation? A 4th-layer Earth Demon was enough to make an ordinary true dragon inheritance dragon martial artist choke. Jiang Qingyun would probably be able to deal with a 4th-layer Earth Demon at best. As for his two lackeys, it would be extremely difficult for them to even deal with a 3rd-layer Earth Demon. Kang Xinmu didn't act rashly. In any case, he was only a bystander. It could be said that he was the Oriole hiding behind the mantis. Regardless of whether the other party could deal with the situation, it wouldn't affect Kang Xinmu at all. On the contrary, Kang Xinmu hoped that Jiang Qingyun's group of 3 would perish together with the Earth Demons. This would be the best scenario. Of course, Jiang Qingyun might have some other means to deal with the 3 Earth Demons. Anyway, Kang Xinmu only needed to be ready to take action at any time and snatch the Earth Demon's demon core. Kang Xinmu carefully observed the Earth Demons. This was a tribe of lynx demonic beasts. They should be called the Thorn Lynx. They moved extremely fast and could sneak attack targets in the dense forest. They were extremely ferocious when hunting, and their prey were other similarly ferocious demonic beasts. It was obvious that their combat strength was extremely strong. But now, the Bramble Lynx tribe had just finished their hunt and had just eaten their fill. They were all resting leisurely in the forest. Chapter 38:13. In the Sky Herald Forest, Kang Xinmu was hiding in the dense forest, constantly watching the battle through the gaps between the leaves. The navy blue blade dragon that Jiang Qingyun had transformed into was indeed very strong. The navy blue dragon bone blades on its back each had a frighteningly sharp aura. In the battle, they constantly blocked the sharp front claws of the Thorns Lynx leader. In the rapid confrontation again and again, the Thorns Lynx leader was actually at a disadvantage. Obviously, the advantage of the navy blue blade dragon was somewhat obvious. The navy blue dragon bone blades on its back played a great role in the battle. Most importantly, the two navy blue dragon bone blades on the dragon's tail would pose a great threat to the Thorns Lynx leader every time the dragon swung its tail, forcing it to either give up on attacking, dodge, or be seriously injured by the two blades. The Thorns Lynx was a demon beast race. They were flexible, but their physical strength was lacking. In the process of battle, as long as they could dodge an attack, they would have to dodge. Otherwise, it was very likely that they would be seriously injured because of a moment of carelessness. For the Thorns Lynx, it was impossible for them to use the method of trading life for life. After all, they were very flexible. If they gave up this opportunity to attack, there would be a next opportunity soon. Once they were injured, it would lead to a decline in their overall condition, causing the possibility of failure in the end. Look! Under the powerful pressure of the navy blue blade dragon, the Bramble Lynx chieftain dodged again and again. Gradually, Jiang Qingyun found a flaw and the navy blue dragon bone blade on his dragon tail swept out, hitting the belly of the Bramble Lynx chieftain. This attack basically established the overall victory. It had to be said that Jiang Qingyun's combat talent was still very outstanding. When the Thorns Lynx leader was dodging, an ordinary person might not necessarily be able to catch it. Once this opportunity was missed, there might not be another opportunity. In such a battle, opportunities were fleeting. Not to mention, the Thorns Lynx leader was a forest demon hunter with extremely rich combat experience. It was not easy to force it to reveal a flaw. Even if it was only a small flaw, it had to be 100% grasped. The two navy blue dragon bone blades pierced deeply into the belly of the thorny lynx leader. Blood gushed out and instantly spilled over the dense forest grass. The thorn bobcat leader felt the pain and turned around to jump away. It magically flipped its body in the air, showing how agile it was. It looked like it couldn't beat Jiang Qingyun and was about to slip away, but how could Jiang Qingyun let it go? The navy blue dragon quickly moved forward in the jungle, trying to catch up with the thorny lynx leader. But at this time, the two sides had been fighting for a long time. Although Jiang Qingyun had a big advantage, his two subordinates were in a very bad situation, especially the clear wave water dragon, whose body was already full of wounds. If it weren't for the clear ripple water dragon's innate ability to slowly heal itself, it would have been killed by the thorn lynx. Seeing that the Thorn Lynx leader was at a disadvantage in the confrontation between Jiang Qingyun and the Thorn Lynx leader, the two third-layer Thorn Lynx Earth demons turned around and chased after the navy blue blade dragon. No matter what, they had to stall Jiang Qingyun and not let him chase after the Thorn Lynx leader. It was impossible for Jiang Qingyun's two subordinates to turn around and help. They could only watch as the two third-layer Thorn Lynx caught up to Jiang Qingyun and blocked him in the jungle. Although it wasn't too difficult for Jiang Qingyun to deal with two third-layer Earth demons, it would still take a lot of time. In this period of time, the Thorn Lynx leader would have already escaped. This made Jiang Qingyun gnash his teeth, somewhat resentful that iron didn't meet his expectations. Truly trash. You can't even stall two third-layer Earth demons. Jiang Qingyun clenched his teeth. He could only deal with the two third-layer Earth demons first because the opponent's attacks were extremely fierce. They came from two directions. If he ignored them, the navy blue blade dragon would definitely be injured, and the injuries would not be light. Although it was a true dragon, the navy blue blade dragon's body wasn't particularly tyrannical. If the enemy hit its vitals, it would still be seriously injured. The true dragon roared and swept its tail. The 2/3 layer thorn lynx easily dodged in a flash and jumped behind the navy blue blade dragon. The 2 thorn lynx attacked the side of the navy blue blade dragon's body, wanting to use their sharp claws to stab into the navy blue blade dragon's body. You want to injure me? Dream on. Jiang Qingyun coldly snorted. He saw the navy blue blade dragon's body spin in midair, bringing with it a wave of navy blue blade light. It actually revolved around the dragon's body, forcing the 2 thorn lynx to retreat. If one wanted to injure the navy blue blade dragon in this state, they would have to risk being stabbed by the navy blue dragon bone blade. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the thorn lynx group to do so. In this battle, from the start, the navy azure blade dragon had a huge advantage. On the other hand, if it was a demonic beast like the 5-colored scorpion, even if it was at the 3rd layer, the navy azure blade dragon wouldn't dare to casually kill it. The multicolored brightly scorpion's poison was extremely strong. If the navy azure blade dragon were to cut open its body, the poison would explode out, easily poisoning the navy azure blade dragon. After the navy azure blade dragon was poisoned, he would be the same as the other dragon martial artists. Unless he took an antidote pill, it would be impossible for him to survive. Therefore, although Jiang Qingyun seemed rash, he was actually very meticulous. The opponents he chose were all suitable for him. Once he encountered a troublesome opponent, he would definitely not rush in recklessly. The navy blue blade dragon began to fight against the 2 level 3 bramble lynx earth demons. In a battle of this level, the 2nd layer earth beasts and the 1st layer earth beasts had no room to intervene. Even if they were affected, they would either die or be crippled. Therefore, the other bramble lynx could only leave this area and completely disperse. And at this time, Kang Xinmu's opportunity had arrived. The heavily injured bramble lynx leader had already escaped a distance away, and it just happened to be running towards Kang Xinmu's direction. The navy blue blade dragon that Jiang Qingyun had transformed into was being held back by the other 2 bramble lynx. It was difficult for him to chase after the bramble lynx leader. Of course, Kang Xinmu wouldn't let go of such an opportunity. He watched as the bramble lynx leader ran out of the forest. Its speed was extremely fast, and fresh blood flowed out of its stomach, constantly sprinkling into the forest. Suddenly, a black dragon rushed out from the side and quickly bit the bramble lynx leader. This was the black dragon that Kang Xinmu had transformed into. Under the circumstances of a sneak attack, he struck the opponent's vitals, and the dragon's teeth firmly embedded into the opponent's neck. Chapter 38:14. Even Kang Xinmu, who didn't have a good impression of Jiang Qingyun, couldn't help but admire the timing of the 3's sneak attack. The bramble bobcats were caught off guard and were attacked from 3 directions by Jiang Qingyun's group of 3. Apart from Jiang Qingyun's 2 subordinates, both of them transformed into a 30-meter-long mortal dragon and pounced towards the 2/3 layer bramble bobcats. As for Jiang Qingyun himself, he didn't transform into a dragon. Instead, his whole body emitted a navy blue color, which then condensed into countless navy blue saber lights that fell on one of the thorny lynx earth demons. Jiang Qingyun's target wasn't the 4th layer earth demon, but the 3rd layer earth demon beside it. He knew very well that if he attacked the 4th layer earth demon with a sneak attack, he wouldn't be able to kill it instantly. But if he directly attacked the 3rd layer earth demon, it would be very easy to deal with it. In any case, it was obvious that the other side had lost members. Furthermore, the following battle would be much easier. It was better to break 1 finger than to injure 10 fingers. Jiang Qingyun clearly understood this principle very well. Quite smart. No wonder they can do so well in such a deep region. Unfortunately, these thorny lynx's demon cores will all belong to me. An ominous glint flashed in Kang Xinmu's eyes. He recalled how Jiang Qingyun's trio had ridiculed Jiang Yuaning and the other dragon warriors of the Grand Supreme Palace. He didn't have the slightest hesitation about what to do next. Since Jiang Qingyun liked to snatch other people's spoils of war, Kang Xinmu would let him have a taste of having his spoils of war taken away by others. Because the Bramble Lynx tribe was very powerful, with 1/4 layer Earth Demon and 3/3 layer Earth Demons, even if Jiang Qingyun succeeded in his sneak attack, he wouldn't have the time to retrieve the Earth Demon's monster core. This was Kang Xinmu's opportunity. The moment Jiang Qingyun made his move, Kang Xinmu was already on guard, ready to act at any time. Soon, Jiang Qingyun's sky full of navy blue saber light fell, and sure enough, the sleepy and unvigilant third-level Earth Demon Bramble's bobcat was cut in half. The Bramble Bobcat's blood splattered as it lost its life. But at this moment, the 4th layer Earth Demon level Bramble Bobcat leader had already reacted. It let out a sharp hiss, and its whole body was as agile as a bolt of lightning. Its body under its gray fur instantly streaked across the dense forest and pounced on Jiang Qingyun. Jiang Qingyun immediately reacted, or rather, he was already prepared for it. He quickly retreated backward to avoid the attack of the Thorn Bobcat leader. It depends. At this moment, Kang Xinmu saw an opportunity. He quickly rushed out of the dense forest and arrived at the foot of the Thorn Bobcat that Jiang Qingyun had killed in 2 or 3 steps. He pulled the corpse away. The direction in which Kang Xinmu appeared was extremely tricky. He rushed through the dense forest next to him. Coupled with his extremely fast speed, the battle was extremely stalemate. As soon as he made his move, he got the corpse of the Thorn Bobcat, and Jiang Qingyun and the others did not see its face clearly. Who is it? Seeing that his spoils of war were taken away, Jiang Qingyun suddenly cursed. He was just dodging the attack of the Thorn Bobcat leader. He really did not expect that someone would come out to snatch his spoils of war. As for Jiang Qingyun's 2 followers, the situation was even more urgent, and it was even more impossible for them to notice Kang Xinmu's face. The 2 subordinates of Jiang Qingyun were both inheritors of the blood essence of the mortal dragon, but their combat strength was not as good as Jiang Xinmu's. Each of them was facing a thorny bobcat at the 3rd layer of the Earth Demon realm, and they were surrounded by danger. Even though they had transformed into dragons, they could not confront their opponents head-on, and could only keep dodging their opponents' attacks. The speed of the Thorn Bobcats was extremely fast. Although their bodies were relatively thin, their claws were extremely sharp. There was no doubt that these Thorn Bobcats' claws were strengthened by the power of the earth. Every time they attacked, they could always leave a deep bloody mark on the bodies of Jiang Qingyun's 2 followers who had transformed into dragons. One of them was a green dragon with a body like a rock, known as the Emerald Rock Dragon. It was relatively cumbersome, but had a strong defense, so the situation was better. The other was a sky blue, clear wave water dragon. Although it was flexible, it was far worse than the Thorn Bobcats. In addition, the clear wave water dragon's defense was not strong, and its body was already full of bloody marks. The 2 sides had just started fighting, and the situation was already like this. Kang Xinmu felt that these 2 guys would definitely not be able to last more than a quarter of an hour. However, this had nothing to do with Kang Xinmu. After snatching the corpse of the Thorn Bobcat, he carefully took out the monster core, and then immediately changed his position and hid in another dense forest. Because he discovered that although Jiang Qingyun did not notice who had stolen the corpse of the Thorn Lynx and was being held back by the Thorn Lynx leader, there were other Thorn Lynx Earth Demons that had noticed the situation here. The monster core of the Earth Demon was not only useful for dragon warriors like Kang Xinmu. For the Earth Demons themselves, it was also extremely important. In the sky-herding forest, there would often be some Earth Demons fighting with each other and then snatching the monster core in each other's body. As long as they absorbed the power of the earth in the monster core of other Earth Demons, they could gradually improve their realm. This was one of the ways for them to increase their strength. Therefore, when Jiang Shenwu dragged the corpse of the thorny bobcat away, many second and first layer Earth Fey bobcats tiptoed over, wanting to get a piece of the pie. Unfortunately, these Earth Fey were relatively weak in the pack, so they behaved cautiously. By the time they rushed to the corpse of the thorn bobcat, Kang Xinmu had already taken away the monster core and changed his hiding place, which made these thorn bobcats gnash their teeth in anger. Unfortunately, their current situation was very bad, and they were too lazy to pay attention to Kang Xinmu. In the field, although Jiang Qingyun was angry, he quickly turned into a navy blue true dragon with a body of 300 feet long, full of a sense of awe-inspiring oppression, and fought with the fourth layer thorn bobcat leader. For the time being, he didn't have time to care about who snatched the corpse of the thorn bobcat. The most important thing was to kill the guy in front of him. He knew very well that if he was delayed, his two followers would be in danger of dying. Navy Blue Blade Dragon. The true dragon inheritance blood essence that Jiang Qingyun had obtained was a navy blue saber dragon. It was a blue divine dragon that was 300 feet long. On the dragon's back were 16 navy blue dragon bone sabers. Each saber blade shone with a navy blue killing intent, bringing with it a terrifying aura. The sky-swallowing record was updated. Chapter 38:15. Just like that, a fourth layer bramble lynx was killed by Kang Xinmu. The devouring power surged into the lynx's body, continuously devouring its flesh and blood essence into the black dragon's body. The lynx, which had already been seriously injured by Jiang Qingyun, didn't last long. After struggling for a moment, it lost all signs of life. Kang Xinmu didn't hesitate. After extracting the demon core from the lynx's body, he returned to his human form and continued to hide in the dense forest. Of course, he couldn't just leave like that. In any case, Jiang Qingyun still didn't know who was secretly following them and stealing their prey, so Kang Xinmu naturally had to continue. If he didn't steal more of the lynx's demon core, how could he face the dragon warrior Jiang Haisheng of the Grand Prince Mansion? Although Kang Xinmu didn't know Jiang Haisheng before, he was still a member of the Grand Prince Mansion. The demon core he obtained represented the Grand Prince Mansion's points. Jiang Qingyun's stealing had already harmed Kang Xinmu's interests. If he didn't respond, wouldn't he be too weak? In any case, Jiang Shenwu would never be willing to let the Grand Prince's palace fall into the bottom three during this demon-slaying expedition. They had to at least be in second place. Furthermore, he wanted to surpass the northern residence that Jiang Liuxue was in. Only by getting first place in the demon-slaying training would the dragon warriors of the Grand Prince Mansion be able to cultivate the highest grade of dragon martial skills. Only then would Kang Xinmu be able to rush to a higher level. His current foundation was too weak. If he couldn't cultivate the highest grade of dragon martial skills, how could he compete with the other dragon warriors in the future? If he wanted to improve the grade and size of his black dragon heritage blood essence, he needed to devour the divine dragon heritage blood essence of other dragon warriors. Since Kang Xinmu had obtained the black dragon's devouring power, he was destined to walk this path. Kang Xinmu continued to hide in the Heavendrive forest. On the other side, Jiang Qingyun transformed into a navy blue saber dragon and quickly killed the remaining two-third layer Thorn's Lynx Earth demons. He saved his two subordinates and gave them 2 healing pills for them to consume. Kang Xinmu couldn't obtain the beast cores of these 2 thorny bobcats because he had just killed the thorny bobcat leader and obtained the beast core of the 4th layer Earth demon. In any case, I still have time to play with them. I'll put these 2 aside for now. Kang Xinmu secretly observed the situation. Jiang Qingyun did not suffer any injuries, nor did he lose much of his strength. However, his 2 followers had suffered serious injuries. If they wanted to continue, they would have to rest for at least 2 hours. During this period of time, Jiang Qingyun naturally didn't dare to casually leave. Otherwise, his 2 followers wouldn't just be injured. It had to be known that there were dangers everywhere in the Heaven Drive forest. Once they lost Jiang Qingyun's protection, the two who were taking healing pills to recuperate would most likely be targeted by various demonic beasts and die without a burial place. Therefore, Jiang Qingyun could only stay behind while cursing and being vigilant of the surroundings. He was naturally unhappy that the thorny bobcat leader had run away, but he definitely wouldn't be able to catch it now. There was no need to worry about the beast core. In any case, it wasn't particularly difficult for him to deal with a fourth-layer earth demon. There was no need to risk the lives of his subordinates. His followers were still very useful to him. He didn't want to lose them just like that. For the next 2 hours, Kang Xinmu didn't appear. Instead, he hid to the side, constantly observing Jiang Qingyun's actions. Since he was going to snatch food from the dragon's mouth, he naturally had to observe his opponent's every move. After a certain period of observation, Kang Xinmu could understand a lot about Jiang Qingyun, such as his personality, patience, and so on. In these 2 hours, Jiang Qingyun had cursed his two subordinates at least 100 times. It could be seen that this person's temper was quite violent. This was a relatively favorable situation for Kang Xinmu, because the more violent the opponent was, the more likely it was that he would ignore certain things due to anger. This made it so that even if Kang Xinmu revealed some clues, the opponent wouldn't necessarily discover it was him. Of course, being violent didn't mean being careless. Kang Xinmu couldn't be careless because of this. When Jiang Qingyun's two subordinates finished healing their injuries, the three finally set off again. Soon, they arrived near the corpse of the third-layer Thorns Bobcat Earth Demon that Kang Xinmu had dragged away for the first time. Jiang Qingyun couldn't help but curse inwardly. If I find out who that guy is, I'll definitely make him die a horrible death. Jiang Qingyun really didn't expect that someone would dare to snatch such an Earth Demon's monster core from his hands. Obviously, only he was qualified to snatch it from others. Jiang Xinwu followed closely behind him, but when he heard Jiang Qingyun's words, he thought to himself, even if I appeared in front of him now and told him that I was the one who took the Yao core, would Jiang Qingyun really dare to kill me? After all, not everyone was as deranged as Jiang Cheng. Before making a move against a dragon martial artist, everyone would carefully consider the pros and cons. However, Kang Xinmu's next action had to be more covert. After all, after the first time, the other party would definitely be vigilant. If Kang Xinmu continued to act rashly like before, his identity would definitely be discovered by the other party. Chapter 38:16. Luring. After entering the territory of the flying demonic beasts, Jiang Qingyun and company would not be able to escape in a short period of time. There would definitely be a bloody battle. As for Kang Xinmu, he did not hide in a corner and waited for an opportunity. Instead, he headed towards another demonic beast area. His plan was to lure the earth demons in that demonic beast area over and have them join forces with the flying demonic beasts to attack Jiang Qingyun and company. Since Jiang Qingyun's navy blue saber dragon was powerful and could deal with a fourth-layer earth demon without any pressure, then he would deal with two. In any case, it would be very difficult for Jiang Xinwu to obtain any results just by waiting for an opportunity to move. It would be better to carry out such a plan once and see how effective it was. He believed that when Jiang Qingyun and the other two faced danger, they would definitely value their own lives the most, so he did not have to worry about them dying inside. At most, they would crush the explosion scroll and let the nearby experts of the Jiang clan come to their rescue. This way, the three of them would lose the qualifications to continue their demon-slaying training, and all the earth demon cores they obtained would not be counted as a result. For Kang Xinmu, this was good news no matter what. Kang Xinmu quickly traversed through the Sky Herald Forest and quickly arrived at the edge of the neighboring demonic beast area. Through the aura, he discovered that this place belonged to the Blackthorn Boar demonic beast's territory. This type of demonic beast was extremely irascible, so it was perfect for Kang Xinmu to carry out his plan. If it were a fox or a lynx, or a cunning and cautious demonic beast, it would not be easy for Kang Xinmu to lure them to other places. But since it was a blackthorn boar, there was no problem at all. Kang Xinmu did not find any earth demon level blackthorn boar, but he quickly found 2 ordinary blackthorn boar demonic beasts that had not reached the earth demon level. Although they looked ferocious, they were definitely not a match for Kang Xinmu in a fight. Jiang Shenwu directly leaped towards the 2 backbone porcupine demonic beasts and dashed out of the forest, directly transforming into his black dragon form. The 150-meter-long black dragon instantly flew through the dense forest and bit down on a longback thorn boar. Its devouring power surged out and violently devoured the longback thorn boar's flesh and blood essence. It had almost no ability to resist. This kind of ordinary demon beast could not withstand Kang Xinmu's attack at all. In the blink of an eye, the thorny back pig had already lost its life. The other longback thorn hog originally wanted to rush over, but seeing that Kang Xinmu was really too strong, it turned around and ran away without thinking, disappearing into the dense forest in an instant. Kang Xinmu did not chase after it. Of course, if he wanted to chase, he could easily catch up with it and kill it, but there was no need. He still had to rely on this longback thorn boar to send a message. Sure enough, soon, accompanied by the howling of several wild boars, several longback thorn boars appeared around Kang Xinmu. Among these longback thorn boars, the strongest one was at the 2nd layer of the earth demon level. When it came over and saw the black dragon form, it immediately became a little afraid. Generally speaking, ordinary dragons could defeat earth demon level higher. A dragon martial artist at the 1st layer of the ascending dragon realm could easily deal with a 2nd layer earth demon. But now, the black dragon that Kang Xinmu had transformed into was a 150-meter long ordinary dragon. Obviously, it was not an ordinary dragon. The longback thorn boar of the 2nd layer of the earth demon hesitated and did not dare to come forward. It just kept howling, causing the surrounding longback thorn boars to continuously gather, surrounding Kang Xinmu in the middle. This kind of encirclement was dispensable to Kang Xinmu, but he had not yet achieved his goal, so of course, he would not leave like this. Kill. If he wanted to lure out the other side's stronger longback thorn boars, he could only kill a certain number of these longback thorn boars. Otherwise, the other side would not even bother to appear. When the black dragon's body, which was 150 feet long, continued to roll in the dense forest, it charged towards the thorny porcupine after the thorny porcupine. The thorny porcupine demonic beasts suffered extremely heavy casualties. Immediately after, a few mournful howls rang out. From the depths of the dense forest, there was the earth-shaking sound of demonic beasts running. At least 3. That's enough. When Kang Xinmu heard those howls, he noticed that the surrounding ordinary longback thorn boars had begun to retreat. He knew that the strongest of the longback thorn boars had arrived. Kang Xinmu did not want to fight against the other side. After all, he was alone now, and it was impossible for him to defeat a 4th-layer earth demon. So when he heard these howls, he immediately turned and ran back to where Jiang Qingyun was. The luring plan was already halfway to success. Kang Xinmu transformed into a black dragon and flew rapidly through the dense forest of Heavendrive Forest. At the same time, there were more than 10 longback thorn boars following behind him. One of them was a 4th-layer earth demon leader, 2 were 3rd-layer earth demons, and the rest were 1st-layer or 2nd-layer earth demons. These longback thorn boars were much more united than the thorny lynx from before. When they discovered an external enemy, they almost immediately swarmed forward. Even the 1st-layer and 2nd-layer longback thorn boars did not hesitate and wanted to kill Kang Xinmu without fear of death. This situation was exactly what Kang Xinmu wanted. He transformed into a black dragon and rushed toward the territory of the flying beasts as fast as he could. He could feel the intense footsteps of the longback thorn boars behind him. If he had not transformed into a dragon, Kang Xinmu would not have been able to escape the pursuit of those longback thorn boars. However, when he transformed into a black dragon and flew through the air, his speed was much faster. Soon, he discovered that there were two longback thorn boars that could also float in the air. There was a thin membrane between the spikes on these two longback thorn boars. By relying on this membrane, they could actually glide over short distances at an extremely fast speed. Before Jiang Shenwu could react, the two gliding backthorn boars had already landed on the back of the black dragon he had transformed into, and each of them began to bite at the black dragon. However, although these two thorny back porcupine boars could glide, they were only at the first layer of the earth demon realm. In addition, they had used the power of the earth to strengthen the membrane on their backs, which allowed them to glide, so their fangs were not sharp and could not hurt Jiang Shenwu too deeply. Kang Xinmu swung his dragon body in the air and rushed into the territory of the flying beasts in the blink of an eye. Then, his entire black dragon body suddenly disappeared. Since he wanted these longback thorn boars to deal with Jiang Qingyun, it was naturally time for Kang Xinmu to disappear in front of these longback thorn boars. He directly reverted from his dragon form to his human form and disappeared into the dense forest in a flash. Fortunately, the longback thorn boars did not have a particularly sensitive sense of smell. After hiding in the forest, Kang Xinmu curled up into a ball and covered himself with soil, successfully hiding his tracks. In front of him, there were faint sounds of an intense battle, which attracted the attention of the longback thorn boars. Chapter 38:17. A large group of enraged deep-back thorn boars charged to the front. The moment they saw Jiang Qingyun and the other two mystical dragons, their eyes seemed to be spitting fire. Without thinking, they charged over. Jiang Qingyun and the other two transformed into their mystical dragon forms and happened to be fighting with a few flying earth demons. They were flying earth demons of three different races: white-feathered chicken, red-feathered chicken, and ink-feathered chicken. Among them, there was a ink-feathered chicken at the level of 4th Heaven Earth Demon, a white-feathered chicken at the level of 3rd Heaven Earth Demon, and a red-feathered chicken at the level of 3rd Heaven Earth Demon. The three flying beasts fought with the three mystical dragons in the dense forest. Although they were at a disadvantage in terms of size, these flying earth demons were extremely agile. Relying on their superior agility and familiarity with the surrounding terrain, Jiang Qingyun and the others were unable to deal with these flying beasts in a short period of time. Just at this moment, a berserk deep-back thorn boar suddenly charged into the battle and launched a ferocious attack at the three mystical dragons. This situation made Jiang Qingyun curse silently. Where did these wild boars come from? Why did they meet with accidents in both of their recent earth demon hunts? Could it be that someone was plotting against them? Jiang Qingyun was not an idiot. If he had failed to slay the demons twice in a row, there must have been some accident. And now, these longback barbed boars would not run over from the side for no reason at all. The only possibility was that someone had lured them over. Who could it be? Jiang Qingyun gritted his teeth. If he found out who it was, he would definitely let the other party have a taste of suffering. But now, he didn't have the time to find out who had lured this large group of deep-back thorn boars over. This was because even though these deep-back thorn boars couldn't fly, they had extremely strong jumping abilities. They had no problem leaping tens of feet in a single leap. The moment they discovered the three mystical dragons, they immediately leaped into the air. The leader of the 4th Heaven Earth Demon Backthorn Boars bared its sharp fangs that glinted with a bloodthirsty light. After leaping into the air, it instantly pounced on one of Jiang Qingyun's lackeys. That lackey had been severely injured while fighting the Thorn Bobcat Earth Demon. Although he had taken a healing pill, he hadn't fully recovered. Now that he was being attacked by the leader of the 4th Heaven Earth Demon Backthorn Boars, he was instantly at a disadvantage. The defensive abilities of this Emerald Rock Dragon were not weak. However, the opponent it encountered was too strong. the back-piercing pig leader did not have any suspense. It directly pounced on the body of this divine dragon and dragged it to the ground in the dense forest. Then, even more deep-back thorn boars pounced towards the emerald rock dragon. At least 4 or 5 deep-back thorn boar earth demons' sharp tusks pierced into the dragon's body. When Jiang Qingyun saw this, he immediately gritted his teeth. He couldn't watch his subordinates die. The navy azure blade dragon's figure moved, and it landed from mid-air with a loud bang. With a swing of its dragon tail, the 2 tail blades directly swept away the 2 backstabbing boars. However, when the backthorn pig leader saw this, it ferociously charged towards the navy azure blade dragon. A terrifying power instantly erupted. Jiang Qingyun only saw a sturdy figure rushing at him at an extremely fast speed. Then, his navy blue blade dragon body was pierced by 2 sharp fangs. The terrifying brute force even knocked away the navy blue blade dragon's divine dragon body. When the birds in the sky saw this, they were naturally extremely angry. Not only did these dragon warriors dare to intrude into their territory, but now even these backstabbing pigs dared to casually barge in. Weren't they looking down on them too much? The ink feather chicken that was at the 4th layer of the earth demon realm didn't even think as it charged towards the strongest group. The navy azure saber dragon, the ink feather chicken, and the deep back thorn boar leader, the 3 strongest experts all ended up in a chaotic battle. Jiang Qingyun wanted to get rid of these 2 earth demons. The ink feather chicken also wanted to get rid of Jiang Qingyun and the deep back thorn boar leader. Only the deep back thorn boar leader only targeted Jiang Qingyun and not the ink feather chicken. This also caused the ink feather chicken to feel the least pressure. Moreover, the ink feather chicken was not stupid. It was more inclined to join hands with the earth demons to get rid of the dragon warrior first. For a moment, Jiang Qingyun was facing a pincer attack from 2 4th-layer earth demons. The pressure was enormous. Not to mention saving his subordinates, even he himself couldn't handle it. The deep back thorn boar leader's terrifying brute force was able to block his navy blue dragon bone saber head-on. Meanwhile, the ink feather chicken kept sneak attacking from the back. Its body was extremely agile, causing Jiang Qingyun to feel extreme pain. Even though the navy azure blade dragon was protected by many dragon bone sabers, the wounds on its body were still increasing. Many of the wounds were so deep that bones could be seen. Even though the ink feather chicken was small, its wings were strengthened by the power of the earth. Each feather had extremely strong penetrative and destructive power. In this kind of chaotic battle, the ones who were in the worst situation were Jiang Qingyun's 2 subordinates. The emerald rock dragon was facing off against the backthorn hog earth demons, so it could only run away. The clear wave water dragon was facing off against the sky full of black chicken earth demons, but it couldn't even run away. These birds were simply too fast. The clear wave water dragon situation isn't too good. But it has nothing to do with me. Kang Xinmu couldn't be bothered to care about the outcome of Jiang Qingyun's group. The most important thing for him now was to obtain more earth demon cores. In this kind of chaotic battle, fishing in troubled waters was undoubtedly the best way to reap the most benefits. Seeing the deep back thorn boars chase after the emerald rock dragon and gradually leave the area where Jiang Qingyun was fighting, Kang Xinmu silently chased after them. Kang Xinmu counted. Among the deep back thorn boars chasing after the emerald rock dragon, there were mainly 2 3rd-layer earth demons, 4 2nd-layer earth demons, and 4 1st-layer earth demons. In total, there were 10 deep back thorn boars. If it wasn't for the 2 3rd-layer deep back thorn boars, the emerald rock dragon might have been able to resist for a while. Even though there were many of them, the 1st and 2nd-layer earth demons had limited combat power. There was no need for it to run for its life. However, with the 2 3rd-layer deep back thorn boars around, the emerald rock dragon could only run. Kang Xinmu sprinted through the dense forest, paying attention to hiding himself. He wasn't afraid of Jiang Qingyun's subordinates finding him, but he was afraid of being discovered by the deep black-thorn boars. If that happened, the deep black-thorn boars' targets would instantly shift to him. Therefore, he stealthily moved through the dense forest. Suddenly, he found an opportunity and pounced towards the battlefield. He gathered devouring power in his hand and instantly landed on the body of a first-layer deep black-thorn boar. This deep black-thorn boar was relatively slow, so the distance between them gradually widened. Kang Xinmu directly pounced on it and transformed into a black dragon. His fangs instantly pierced into the boar's body. Chapter 38:18. Kang Xinmu followed the Emerald Rock Dragon's escape route and killed the back spiny boars that had fallen behind. Very quickly, he had killed 6 deep black-thorn boars. In the end, there were only 2 Earth Demon Level 3 and 2 Earth Demon Level 2 deep black-thorn boars chasing after the Emerald Rock Dragon. The deep black-thorn boars didn't suspect anything. They just thought that their companions had fallen behind. As expected of a barbaric beast, their intelligence was on the low side. However, after such a long chase, they finally caught up to the Emerald Rock Dragon. The 4 back spiny boars kept attacking the Emerald Rock Dragon. The Emerald Rock Dragon's natural ability was the power of rocks. It could condense large rocks to attack or defend. However, the Emerald Rock Dragon couldn't defend against the combined attacks of the 4 back spiny boars. Of course, in this desperate situation, the Emerald Rock Dragon fought back with all its might. The 4 longback razor pigs weren't having a good time either. More and more of the longback razor pigs were smashed by the falling rocks. Those were the attacking rocks that the Emerald Rock Dragon had condensed. The boulders that fell from the sky were very destructive. The second-layer back spiny boars couldn't defend against them at all. They were immediately injured and their fighting strength was reduced by half. However, the third-layer back spiny boars weren't easy to deal with. On one hand, they were more agile and wouldn't be hit by the boulders. On the other hand, even if they were hit, their bodies were sturdier and they would only suffer minor injuries. As the Emerald Rock Dragon's stamina was depleted, the 4 thorny barbed porcupine boars finally gained the upper hand. However, after a long battle, the thorny barbed porcupine boars were gasping for breath. Their bodies were covered in wounds of various sizes from the Emerald Rock Dragon's attacks. A third-layer back spiny boar stepped on the Emerald Rock Dragon's back and stabbed its fangs into the dragon's body. Dragon blood splattered everywhere. The Emerald Rock Dragon grew weaker and weaker. It was about to lose consciousness. Almost there. Kang Xinmu finally decided to make a move. On one hand, the Emerald Rock Dragon was about to die and the back spiny boars were injured. On the other hand, if he made a move now, Jiang Qingyun's subordinate wouldn't recognize him. Even if he hadn't completely lost his consciousness, Kang Xinmu would still be a 150 feet long ordinary dragon. In this batch of Jiang clan's dragon warriors that entered Heaven Drive Forest, none of them were ordinary dragons that were more than 15 feet long. Furthermore, Kang Xinmu was a weak black dragon that was 80 feet long, so it was even more impossible for him to be suspected. Taking 10,000 steps back, even if the other party suspected him, so what? The black dragon finally appeared on the battlefield. First, it completely annihilated the 2 earth demons of the second layer of the deep blackthorn boars that were already injured and unable to move. Its dragon fangs directly pierced into the chests of the 2 deep blackthorn boars, extracting their yao cores. An injured second-layer earth demon could not possibly resist the current Kang Xinmu. The remaining 2 third-layer earth demons naturally discovered Kang Xinmu as well. Their eyes flashed with endless hatred and anger. Without thinking, they abandoned the dying Emerald Rock Dragon and charged towards Kang Xinmu. After all, the 2 deep blackthorn boars still remembered that this black dragon had intruded into their territory and killed most of their brethren. However, they had neglected their current state. They had already expended a lot of energy fighting with the Emerald Rock Dragon, and had also suffered many injuries from the power of the earth. Did they have any chance of winning against this black dragon? Barbaric demon beasts had low intelligence, so Kang Xinmu didn't blame them. Along the way, Jiang Shenwu had continuously ambushed the bayonet thorny boars and had already obtained quite a number of Yao cores. After casually devouring one of the first-layer earth demons Yao core, his entire body's strength had recovered to its peak state. On the other hand, the two bayonet thorny boars were both panting and injured. Even so, Kang Xinmu did not let his guard down. Facing the two deep backthorn boars that were charging towards him, he twisted his body and sank his dragon teeth into the back of one of the deep backthorn boars. His devouring power surged into the boar's body. The deep backthorn boar immediately howled in pain. It wanted to use its sharp claws and fangs to attack Kang Xinmu, but it discovered that its fangs and claws were too short to reach the black dragon's body. The main reason was that Kang Xinmu did not let go of the boar's back. The deep backthorn boar had no way of attacking him, unless the other party had some kind of long-range attack power. However, the deep backthorn boar clearly did not have such an ability. The other deep backthorn boar pounced ferociously, and its sharp claws landed on the black dragon's back. Very quickly, the black dragon's flesh and blood were mangled. Kang Xinmu was in great pain, but he was already used to this kind of pain. As he continued to devour the deep backthorn boar's life force and flesh essence, his injuries were constantly recovering, and he was constantly replenishing the strength he had expended. The terrifying effect of the devouring power was once again on display. Just one deep backthorn boar alone could not kill Kang Xinmu. As the life force of the deep backthorn boar that Kang Xinmu was biting down on drained, he once again recovered to his peak condition. As for the deep backthorn boar that was attacking him, it had expended even more strength and was unable to kill Kang Xinmu. At this point in the battle, there was no longer any suspense. As for the deep backthorn boar, it clearly did not have the concept of fleeing in its mind. It continued to pounce ferociously towards Kang Xinmu. The result was obvious. Not long after, the ground was littered with the corpses of the deep backthorn boars. Kang Xinmu had collected all the earth demon cores. Just this wave alone had earned him 18 points worth of earth demon cores. It could be said that it was a huge harvest. It was only because the Emerald Rock Dragon was attracting the aggro of the deep backthorn boars that Kang Xinmu had such a good opportunity. Now that the Emerald Rock Dragon was severely injured, Kang Xinmu could not be bothered to care about it. He knew that if other demonic beasts came over, they could easily kill the Emerald Rock Dragon. However, what did this fellow's life or death have to do with Kang Xinmu? If it was a friend, Kang Xinmu would not mind saving the other party once. However, it was obvious that the other party did not treat him as a friend, so there was no other way. After collecting so many earth demon cores, Kang Xinmu quietly left the place and returned to the battlefield where Jiang Qingyun was. He did not know how the battle was going. The clear wave water dragon was facing a sky full of flying demonic beasts. If this went on, Jiang Qingyun should be running away too. Kang Xinmu followed the path he came from and found that the other party had already moved the battlefield. There was nothing left of the original battlefield. It seemed that Jiang Qingyun had indeed escaped. He did not see the clear wave water dragon's corpse either. Could it be that Jiang Qingyun had run away with his subordinate? Chapter 38:19. In the Heaven-Dry Forest, it was soon noon and the sun was high in the sky. Kang Xinmu followed the traces of battle in the dense forest and advanced deeper into the Heaven-Dry Forest. Along the way, there were traces of battle between the Navy Azure Blade Dragon, Deep Backthorn Boar, and Ink Feather Chicken, as well as other flying beasts and Deep Backthorn Boar demon beasts. Gradually, Kang Xinmu discovered some traces of dragon blood on the ground. Clearly, even the Navy Azure Blade Dragon had been injured. Jiang Qingyun didn't have much chance of winning against the joint attack of two fourth-layer earth demons. What's more, Jiang Qingyun still had to protect one of his lackeys. That lackey was a clear ripple water dragon. Its innate ability was the power of water jade. It could slowly heal injuries on its body and replenish consumed energy. It was a bit similar to Kong Shinmu's devouring power, but the effect was much worse. Of course, the clear ripple water dragon's power didn't need to devour other people's energy to recover. This kind of method was quite good most of the time. It was just that in an intense battle, the clear ripple water dragon's ability was very useless. Jiang Qingyun escaped with the clear ripple water dragon. His speed wasn't slow. Unfortunately, whether it was the deep back-thorn boar or the ink feather chicken, their speed wasn't slow either. They were definitely following closely behind. Kong Shinmu chased after them. After traversing a few dozen miles of dense forest, he heard the sounds of fierce battle ahead. From the sounds, it seemed like there was an intense battle ahead. Moreover, the momentum was extremely great, making Kong Shinmu somewhat suspicious. Could it be that Jiang Qingyun, the deep back-thorn boar, and the ink feather chicken weren't the only existences ahead? Kong Shinmu restrained his curiosity and slowly advanced with extreme patience. Very quickly, he saw the situation ahead and couldn't help but be surprised. In the field, there really wasn't only Jiang Qingyun and his lackeys. There was actually another group of dragon warriors. This group of dragon warriors had a total of 3 people. One of them was the inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence, while the other 2 were lackeys. The composition was similar to Jiang Qingyun's at the beginning. However, although the number of dragon warriors had increased, the number of demon beasts had also increased. This place was the territory of the flying demon beasts. It was a place where another demon beast's territory intersected. Therefore, another type of demon beast had appeared. A total of 6 third-layer earth demon mad human beasts. The mad human beast's appearance was similar to that of a human, but its body was covered in long hair, and it looked a bit like a monkey. However, its body was much sturdier than a monkey's, and its brute force was extremely strong. Especially after stepping into the earth demon realm, its body was strengthened by the power of the earth, causing its body to become extremely strong. At this moment, 6 third-layer earth demon level mad human beasts, the ink feather black chicken and several other earth demons, as well as a 4th-layer earth demon level deep back thorn boar, were working together to deal with the 5 dragon warriors. Hiding to the side, Kong Shinmu recognized the other 3 dragon warriors. They were the 3 dragon warriors from the Jiang clan's northern mansion. In other words, the inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence came from the same mansion as Jiang Liuxue. Jiang Liuxue, the inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence, will definitely obtain a high score in this demon-slaying training. With this person in front of me, the total score of the northern mansion will most likely be first in the entire Jiang clan. With a thought, Kong Shinmu gradually came up with a plan. Not only did he want to snatch Jiang Qingyun's earth demon's demon core, he also wanted to snatch the true dragon's demon core from the northern mansion's inheritor. At least, the demon cores of the demon beasts in front of him were things that Kong Shinmu wanted. Now that everyone else was out in the open, he was the only one hiding in the dark. Sitting on top of the mountain and watching the tigers fight, it was absolutely possible to obtain some benefits. However, some benefits were not enough. If Kong Shinmu wanted the Grand Supreme Mansion's total score to surpass the Northern Mansion, he had to at least make the inheritor of the true dragon lose the ability to fight. Kong Shinmu remembered that the inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence was named Jiang Qiyue. He was Jiang Liuxue's cousin. He was similarly delicate and handsome, and his eyes flashed with arrogance. In the Jiang clan, to be able to obtain the inheritance of the true dragon meant that one would at least become an elder in the future. As for the inheritor of the true dragon's blood essence, he would be at the patriarch level. Jiang Qiyue's cousin was Jiang Liuxue, and she was very likely to become the Jiang clan's patriarch in the future. She was extremely talented, and he himself was not weak. This caused his mentality to become inflated recently, and he looked down on everyone, including Jiang Qingyun, who was now in front of him. Jiang Qingyun had asked for help the moment he saw him, and had an extremely flattering expression. This made Jiang Qiyu very happy, and now they were working together to deal with the earth demons. From the side, Kang Xinmu could tell that the relationship between Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyu was not that solid. But now, the situation had forced them to work together. I'll find an opportunity to attack. Jiang Shenwu did not act rashly. The situation on the battlefield was extremely unfavorable for the dragon warrior's side. After all, the number of earth demons on the other side was too many. There were a total of 8 third-layer earth demons and 2 fourth-layer earth demons. Their overall strength was extremely strong. Just the 2 fourth firmament earth demons were enough to hold back Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyu. The remaining 3 mortal dragon inheritors were unable to deal with the 8 third firmament earth demons. They could only barely keep themselves alive. Furthermore, they were constantly injured. The 6 mad human beasts were all extremely crazy. They fought with no regard for their lives as they constantly attacked the 3 mortal dragon inheritors. The 3 of them had transformed into divine dragons. D10F. Among them, the clear wave water dragon hid far away. After all, it had not fully recovered from its injuries. The other 2 dragon warriors from the northern mansion had transformed into divine dragons. One of them had the power of lightning, and the other had the power of fire. Of course, the strength of the lightning dragon was definitely not comparable to Jiangcheng. It was only a small mortal dragon that was 120 feet long. Of course, it was not considered small among mortal dragons, and its strength could be said to be top-notch among all the mortal dragon inheritors. It was also because of this that they could barely withstand the attacks of the 8 third-layer earth demons. Even though the 6 mad human beasts constantly attacked, they were still able to ensure that they did not suffer a fatal blow. Kang Xinmu stared at the battlefield, mainly in the direction of Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyu. If the 2 of them could kill their respective 4th-layer earth demons, the situation would become clear. Unfortunately, even if they had such strength, Kang Xinmu would not let it go so smoothly. The 4th-layer backbone pig earth demon was constantly fighting with Jiang Qingyun. Soon, Jiang Qingyun gained the upper hand. The navy blue saber dragon's body was extremely tyrannical. It constantly used the navy blue dragon bone saber to slash at the backbone pig, causing more and more wounds to appear on its body. Chapter 38-20. Seeing that Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyu had gained the upper hand in their respective battles, Kang Xinmu frowned slightly. If this situation continued, it wouldn't be good for him. It wouldn't be good for him to fish in troubled waters and allow the other party to continue smoothly. The 4th-layer earth demon level deep backbone boar was gradually suppressed by the navy blue saber dragon that Jiang Qingyun had transformed into. Just by relying on the deep backbone boar's body, it was almost unable to resist the navy blue dragon bone sabers on the body of the navy blue saber dragon. Similarly, the ink feather chicken's main characteristic was its agility. In front of Jiang Qiyue's storm dragon, it found it even more difficult to display its effects. The winged storm dragon's speed was extremely fast, especially when it was flying in the air. Even though it was 30 meters long, it was still extremely agile. It was no slower than the ink feather chicken in the dense forest. Moreover, the storm blade that it used was an extremely powerful attack. If the ink feather chicken couldn't dodge in time, it would be heavily injured. Fortunately, just as Kang Xinmu was beginning to worry about the 2 earth feather chicken, the ink feather chicken finally let out a sharp cry. Immediately after, the other 2 avian earth feather chicken rushed over to support it. These were 2 different colored ink chicken earth feather chicken, both of which were at the third layer of the earth feather chicken. They surrounded the storm dragon from two different directions. In a one-on-one fight, the storm dragon would still have the advantage. However, now that the other two-third layer earth feather chicken was harassing it from the side, the ink feather chicken gradually recovered its strength. As for the storm dragon that Jiang Qiue had transformed into, even though it was powerful, it couldn't display its full strength at this moment. It was being restrained by the three avian earth feather chicken. The six mad beasts continued to attack the remaining three mortal dragon inheritors. One after another, they began to ferociously attack them. Soon, they couldn't hold on any longer. Even without the harassment from the two-third layer earth feather chicken, the three mortal dragon inheritors still couldn't resist the six mad beasts. Not to mention six mad human beasts. Even if there were only three mad human beasts, these three ordinary dragon martial artists would find it difficult to resist. At most, they would only be able to hold on for a short period of time. As for now, they were even more strapped for strength. It wouldn't be long before they were defeated, and there was only one outcome for them: death. Dying at the hands of demonic beasts during the demon-slaying experiential learning was not a rare thing. Almost every year, there would be people dying at the hands of demonic beasts during the demon-slaying experiential learning. However, no one wanted such a thing to happen to them. Therefore, every dragon warrior in the arena was filled with energy. The dragon warriors of the mortal dragon inheritance wanted to persevere for as long as possible. As for Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiue, they wanted to finish off their opponents as soon as possible. Kang Xinmu felt that it was about time for him to make his move. He had transformed into a pitch-black dragon, and his body was 150 feet long. It was basically impossible for anyone to recognize him. Seizing an opportunity, he saw the fourth layer earth demon level deep backthorn boar leader being heavily injured by the navy blue blade dragon. At this moment, Kang Xinmu finally transformed into a black dragon and flashed past the side. He did not join the battlefield, but only flew past, revealing himself for a moment. It was also at this moment that the deep backthorn boar leader saw him. Immediately, the deep backthorn boar leader seemed to have gone mad. It crazily turned around, wanting to chase after Kang Xinmu. After all, it was Kang Xinmu who had transformed into a black dragon at the beginning and went to the deep backthorn boar's territory to kill them. Therefore, the deep backthorn boar's hatred for Kang Xinmu was obvious. Jiang Qingyun and the deep backthorn boar were fighting. Of course, he saw a black dragon fly past the dense forest beside him. However, it was 150 feet long. This made Jiang Qingyun's heart tremble. He had no impression of it. In this year's Yen Dragon ritual, which Jiang clan dragon warrior had obtained the inheritance of a 150 feet long black dragon? Even black dragons were rare. The one that left a deep impression was Kang Xinmu. However, that kid was 80 feet long. Compared to the black dragon in front of him, he was almost half the size. Therefore, Jiang Qingyun did not guess that it was Kang Xinmu. Seeing the deep backthorn boar leader chase after the black dragon, Jiang Qingyun suddenly understood something. All along, it must have been the black dragon that had been following them. In the beginning, it had snatched the spoils of war, and then it had lured the deep backthorn boar to attack them. All these things were definitely because of this person. He really has guts. He actually dares to come out. Since he is not from our Jiang clan, then I can kill to my heart's content. This person should have many earth demons monster cores on him. If I kill him, I will gain a lot. Jiang Qingyun suddenly had the intention to kill. Since the deep backthorn boar chieftain had a strong desire to kill the black dragon, Jiang Qingyun felt that all he needed to do was wait and reap the benefits. When the deep backthorn boar chieftain and the black dragon were both injured, he would appear again. As for Jiang Qingyun, he still did not dare to leave the battlefield. This was because he realized that his clear wave water dragon could not hold on any longer. he had to save it first. The navy blue blade dragon turned around and charged towards the 6 mad humans. As for the deep blackthorn boar leader, it charged into the dense forest and chased after Kang Xinmu. At this moment, the deep blackthorn boar leader had been seriously injured by the navy blue blade dragon. It could only use half of its strength. The reason why Kang Xinmu had to show his face was because he had considered the following situation. The development of the plot was exactly as he had imagined. As the deep blackthorn boar leader chased after him, Jiang Qingyun turned around to help the others. What followed was a duel between Kang Xinmu and the deep blackthorn boar leader. After luring the deep blackthorn boar leader out, Kang Xinmu transformed into his human form and hid in the dense forest. When the deep blackthorn boar leader passed by, Kang Xinmu immediately transformed into a black dragon. His sharp fangs and claws condensed a strong devouring power as he pierced into the wounds on the deep blackthorn boar leader's body. The wounds created by the navy blue blade dragon became the best way for Kang Xinmu to send his devouring power into the enemy's body. The deep blackthorn boar leader did not expect Kang Xinmu to hide to the side. It was hit and the black dragon's sharp fangs and claws pierced into its original wounds. It immediately howled in pain and wanted to turn around to counterattack the black dragon. However, its body was short and after being bitten by the black dragon, it was unable to reach the black dragon. I only need a quarter of an hour to kill this deep blackthorn boar leader. Kang Xinmu estimated the opponent's vitality. Under the situation of constantly absorbing life force essence, the deep blackthorn boar leader would definitely not be able to last more than a quarter of an hour. And within a quarter of an hour, Jiang Qingyun's side would definitely not be able to deal with so many earth demons. It had to be known that the mad human beast's recovery ability was extremely strong. It would not be easy to kill them all. Chapter 38-21. The devouring power continuously surged towards the backbone porcupine leader's body, continuously absorbing its originally exuberant life force. Its strength and essence were quickly devoured by the black dragon, and the entire backbone porcupine became more and more dispirited. However, this was still a backbone porcupine leader at the 4th layer of the earth demon level. Even though it was bitten by the black dragon and unable to break free, its own strength was still extremely tyrannical. It actually dragged the black dragon that Kang Xinmu had transformed into, and continuously smashed its way through the dense forest. There was a difference in absolute strength between the two sides, so the backbone porcupine leader dragged the huge black dragon's body and continuously slammed into the huge trees and boulders in the dense forest, causing extremely deep wounds to continuously appear on the black dragon's body. Under the backbone porcupine leader's continuous struggle, the black dragon that Kang Xinmu had transformed into had also suffered serious injuries. However, as the devouring power continuously devoured the backbone porcupine leader's flesh and life essence, the black dragon's injuries gradually healed. Correspondingly, as the backbone porcupine leader's flesh and blood essence was continuously devoured, its strength also became weaker and weaker. Gradually, it could no longer drag the black dragon's body, let alone throw it against a huge boulder or a huge wooden pillar. Just as Kang Xinmu had originally estimated, after about a quarter of an hour, he had finally completely devoured the backbone porcupine's flesh and blood essence. Then, he turned it into a dead pig that fell heavily to the ground in the dense forest. At this moment, Kang Xinmu just happened to discover that the place where the backbone porcupine leader had fallen just happened to be within the backbone porcupine group's territory. Unfortunately, at this time, with the fall of the backbone porcupine leader, the other backbone porcupines in the area did not dare to do anything to Kang Xinmu. Revenge? Even the 4th layer Earth Demon porcupine leader had already died. The strongest of the other backbone porcupines were only at the 3rd layer Earth Demon level, and there were only 2 of them. How could they resist this terrifying black dragon in front of them? It was an honor for the longback thorn hog to die in its own territory. Unfortunately, it happened to bring Kong Shinmu over and let him see the other longback thorn hog in this area. Without any hesitation, Kong Shinmu, who was currently in peak condition, directly flew towards a third-layer earth demon, the Blackthorn Boar, who was watching from afar. His dragon claws and teeth were stained with the color of blood, the blood of the Blackthorn Boar leader. That third-layer earth demon level penetrating Blackthorn Boar wanted to turn around and flee, but how could it be in time? After Jiang Shenwu took away the Yao core from the back-piercing boar leader's body, his harvest was already quite bountiful. However, it was impossible for him to stop there. Since there was prey in front of him, he naturally had to kill them all. That third-layer earth demon level penetrating Blackthorn Boar was unable to escape from Kong Shinmu's sharp claws. It was quickly locked down by the black dragon's claws. The dragon's teeth pierced into its body and began to devour its life force and essence. The Blackthorn Boar struggled continuously. Seeing this, the other third-layer earth demon level penetrating Blackthorn Boar did not flee. Instead, it charged towards Kong Shinmu, bearing its fangs. It looked extremely ferocious. Moreover, some of the weaker second and first-layer earth demons in the surroundings were all Blackthorn Boars. Although they knew that they were no match for the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into, they still charged forward. They wouldn't resist the person who killed the leader of their tribe. However, the penetrating Blackthorn Boars didn't think too much about it. Regardless of whether they could defeat the enemy or not, they would fight first. This was the logic of this demonic beast tribe. To Kong Shinmu, this was undoubtedly taking advantage of the situation. After tightly locking onto the third penetrating Blackthorn Boar and flying into the air, Kong Shinmu didn't fly out of the dense forest. Instead, he circled a spot at the top of the dense forest, leaving the penetrating Blackthorn Boars helpless. However, the penetrating Blackthorn Boars didn't leave. Instead, they entrenched themselves under the black dragon and gathered together. From the looks of it, they were planning to wait for Kong Shinmu to land so that they could swarm up and hold Kong Shinmu back. This formation was a little scary. After all, there seemed to be a total of 20 penetrating Blackthorn Boars below. Even though many of them were first and second earth demons, there were just too many of them. If he didn't handle it properly, Kong Shinmu would really suffer a setback in this kind of place. However, he wasn't afraid of this kind of situation at all. The more it was like this, the more it stimulated his fighting spirit. In less than a quarter of an hour, Kong Shinmu finally finished devouring the flesh and blood essence of the third penetrating Blackthorn Boar he had caught first. He took away the Yao core in its body. Then, with a turn of the black dragon's body, it circled downwards, its dragon claws glowing with a cruel blood-red color. Against demonic beasts, there was no need to show any mercy at all. Because, the other party wouldn't show any mercy to a dragon practitioner. Kong Shinmu wanted to annihilate this penetrating Blackthorn Boar tribe. Chapter 38-22. By himself, Kong Shinmu was wreaking havoc in the Blackthorn Boar's territory. Although many of the Blackthorn Boars had been killed, they didn't retreat in the slightest. It was hard to say whether they were stupid or brave. But for Kong Shinmu, this was an undeniably good thing. Because in this kind of battle, he could obtain more and more Earth Demon cores without any risk, increasing his demon-slaying experience. Furthermore, no one would come to disturb him. It was simply wonderful. Adding up all of the deep Blackthorn Boars, Jiang Shenwu would probably be able to contribute around 40 points. This was definitely not a small number. Even Jiang Liuxue, who had inherited the Heavenly Dragon's essence blood, would need a very long time to kill 40 points of Earth Demons and obtain their demon cores. Jiang Liuxue could easily kill a 5th-layer Earth Demon, but killing a 5th-layer Earth Demon would also require a lot of effort. Moreover, once the leader of the 5th-layer Earth Demon was killed, the other Earth Demons would scatter in all directions. It would be extremely difficult to kill more of them. As a result, Kang Shinmu knew that he had already obtained too many Earth Demon cores by relying on this wave of Blackthorn boars. If he could really surpass Jiang Liuxue in the demon-slaying experience, these Blackthorn boars would definitely play an important role. Kang Shinmu didn't stop at all. He continued to kill these Blackthorn boars. First, he killed the third-layer Blackthorn boar, then he picked out the second-layer Earth demons that looked easy to bully. After killing about 10 of them in succession, the remaining Blackthorn boars finally began to panic. They finally realized that this black dragon was no longer something they could handle. Therefore, when only the first layer of the Blackthorn Earth boars were left, they finally began to flee in all directions. However, it was already too late for them to flee. Jiang Shenwu chased after them one by one. Basically, as long as he caught up to them, he could use brute force to heavily injure them. Then, he would use his devouring power to easily kill them and take away their Yao cores. The reason why they first dealt with the stronger deep Blackthorn boars and left the first layer deep Blackthorn boars behind was for this reason. That was because the first layer deep Blackthorn boars were extremely weak to the current Jiang Shenwu. He would be able to kill them in a single exchange. Even if they scattered in all directions, he could still catch up and kill them one by one. After about 2 hours, Kang Shinmu had killed all the Blackthorn boars. The entire forest was a bloody scene. It was obvious that a brutal massacre had occurred. Kang Shinmu looked at the corpses of the Blackthorn boars and sighed. In this world, strength was everything. In the end, the weak would become the stepping stones of the strong. No matter if it was a monstrous beast or a dragon martial artist, it was all the same. If Jiang Shenwu was the weak one, then the one dying here would be him. The weak became the strong. This was an unchanging rule since time immemorial. Kang Shinmu sorted out the Earth Demon cores he had obtained. He was surprised to find that they had already reached 100 points. It seemed like his journey with Jiang Qingyun had been quite fruitful. He had obtained more than 50 Earth Demon cores. As for Jiang Qingyun and the rest, they had only obtained less than 10 points. Previously, Jiang Qingyun had snatched a 4th-layer Earth Demon core from Jiang Haisheng of the Grand Prince's mansion. It could be said that he had gotten his revenge. Now, Kang Shinmu no longer had any resentment towards Jiang Qingyun. It's about time to go back. Kang Shinmu looked at the sky. Now that Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyue were together, they would undoubtedly target Kang Shinmu together if they saw Kang Shinmu. Therefore, Kang Shinmu couldn't be bothered to appear in front of them. Previously, he had passed by them in a flash, so they didn't know that the 150 feet long pitch-black dragon was him. But if they appeared again, it was very likely that they would chase after him. At that time, it would be hard to say what would happen. Although Kang Shinmu had become stronger, he was not arrogant enough to fight a dragon cultivator with a true dragon's inheritance head-on. That was definitely an act of courting death. Looking at the sky, it was not far from evening. It would not be long before night fell again. It was time to meet up with Jiang Yuaning and begin the night hunt. Although the efficiency of hunting at night was not very high, they could still gain a lot. The main thing was to be careful and not advance rashly like during the day. However, just as Kang Shinmu was about to leave, he suddenly felt a bone-chilling aura erupt from the dense forest behind him. Immediately after, a few dragon cultivators transformed into divine dragons and flew in his direction from the sky above the dense forest. Obviously, those dragon cultivators had encountered some powerful existence and fled out of the sky exorcism forest. Coincidentally, those few dragon cultivators happened to be Jiang Qingyun, Jiang Qiyue, and the others that Kang Shinmu had just met. However, there were only 4 of them left in their group. Obviously, one of them had been stopped by the existence that emitted a terrifying aura behind them. Why are they running? What kind of demonic beast did they encounter? Kang Shinmu's heart stirred. He could see that the 4 divine dragons' eyes were filled with panic as they fled. Obviously, the existence that was chasing them was extremely powerful and not something that they could deal with. It had to be at least a 6th-layer Earth Fae to make them flee like that. Otherwise, if it was a 5th-layer Earth Fae, just Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyue alone would be able to resist it for a moment. They would not be fleeing so crazily. Just as Jiang Shenwu was feeling puzzled, a thread of ice that was almost invisible to the naked eye suddenly shot out from the depths of the heaven-dry forest. With a "pu" sound, it landed on the body of the clear rippling water dragon that had landed at the very back. The ice thread landed on the clear ripple water dragon and directly stopped its momentum. Then, with a forceful tug, the clear ripple water dragon was actually pulled back. "Save me!" The clear wave water dragon let out a dragon roar as it cried for help in its panic. However, Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyue ignored it. Instead, they heaved sighs of relief and fled even faster into the distance. This made the water dragon feel despair. The dragon cultivator was one of the geniuses of the Jiang clan. Now that he had fallen into the hands of a demonic beast, no one was going to save him. It seemed like he could only crush the explosive scroll. Chapter 38-23. Kang Xinmu watched as the clear ripple water dragon crushed the flame explosion scroll. Then, the divine dragon's body was pulled by the ice threads, crashing into the dense forest dozens of miles away. What kind of fey beast released the ice threads? It can actually fly dozens of miles away. It's so terrifying. Kang Xinmu's heart trembled. He could tell that Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyue were idiots. Transforming into divine dragons and flying high in the sky, it was impossible for them to escape from the fey beast. Instead, if they had quietly escaped in the dense forest, there was a glimmer of hope. Because flying high in the sky, without the cover of the dense forest, it was easier for the fey beast to hit them with the ice threads and pull them back. But it seemed that Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyue had flown hundreds of miles away. The terrifying fey beast did not continue to release ice threads to attack them. It was as if it had disappeared. But Kang Xinmu knew that the fey beast was definitely still there. But the fey beast was enjoying the clear ripple water dragon and Jiang Qiyue's subordinates? When the flame explosion scroll exploded in the sky, the experts of the Jiang clan quickly flew over from afar. They were extremely fast. After all, the Jiang clan experts responsible for the rescue were all beyond the dragon ascension realm. Their strength was not something that a dragon warrior like Kang Xinmu, who had just transformed into a dragon, could compare with. Even if a sky fey above the earth fey level appeared, the rescue experts would be able to deal with it. Since the rescue experts have been mobilized, I can go take a look. Kang Xinmu was curious about the terrifying fey beast. He quietly went deeper into the sky-hurting forest in his human form. He wanted to see the full appearance of the fey beast. What he didn't expect was that before he could go far, he saw the appearance of the terrifying demonic beast. It was actually a giant spider demonic beast that was hundreds of feet tall. The demonic beast's body was covered with an extremely thick layer of ice crystals. Bone-piercing winter spider. It's actually a sky fey. When Kang Xinmu saw the creature, he felt a wave of fear. Everyone in the Jiang tribal clan was familiar with the bone-piercing winter spider. This was because a few years ago, a dragon warrior had brought a bone-piercing winter spider back to the Jiang clan. He wanted to study it or tame it, but in the end, the bone-piercing winter spider showed its prowess in the Jiang clan. It killed hundreds of innocent Jiang clan members before it was finally subdued. That bone-piercing winter spider was a sky demon. Now, the bone-piercing winter spider that appeared not far from Kang Xinmu was clearly a sky demon. Otherwise, its body would not be so large. It was like a small mountain, with a height of more than 100 feet. Each of its ice crystal spider legs was at least 300 to 400 feet long. It was unknown how it had suddenly appeared here. Even a heavenly dragon inheritor would appear tiny in front of the bone-piercing winter spider, much less a mortal dragon warrior like Kang Xinmu. At this moment, Kang Xinmu could completely understand why Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyue were fleeing for their lives. They had encountered such a terrifying fey beast. The clear ripple water dragon was caught by the frost spider's silk, and it immediately crushed the burning explosion scroll. Its reaction speed was considered fast. From the looks of it, Jiang Qiyue's other subordinate didn't have the time to crush the burning explosion scroll before he was killed by the bone-piercing winter spider. This terrifying demonic beast seemed to have suddenly descended, not giving that fellow any time to react. It was also because of the kid's sacrifice that Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyue were able to buy time to escape. The 5 experts from the Jiang clan flew from all directions in the form of dragons, flying towards the bone-piercing winter spider. Even though they saw the huge body of the bone-piercing winter spider, they did not retreat. No matter what, they had to save the Jiang clan's genius juniors in danger. At this moment, the bone-piercing winter spider was not considered a strong existence. With the 5 of them working together, they should be able to hold it back for a while, allowing the juniors to escape first. 4,000 more experts as reinforcements. Such a good show could not be missed. Kang Xinmu did not hesitate and continued forward. Since the Jiang clan's experts had arrived, the bone-piercing winter spider would not focus on Kang Xinmu. Also, if Kang Xinmu continued to hide in the dense forest, it would not be easy for him to be discovered. There were many people who had the same thoughts as Kang Xinmu, but most of them valued their own lives. Even if there was the slightest danger, they were unwilling to move forward. Not to mention, the bone-piercing winter spider was so strong that it had reached the level of a sky fae. Against the dragon warriors participating in the demon-slaying training, it was an existence that could instantly kill them. As for Kang Xinmu, it was not because he wanted to freeload, but purely because he wanted to see a battle between experts. The key was the dragon techniques. Now, there were 5 experts from the Jiang clan on the field. If they were to fight the bone-piercing winter spider, they would definitely use a lot of dragon martial skills. From this, they would definitely be able to tell which dragon martial skills were stronger and which were weaker. This would be crucial to Jiang Xinwu's decision in the near future. The battle experience of experts was extremely important to the younger generation. Many times, watching a battle between experts could help one avoid many detours. Not to mention, the battle with the bone-piercing winter spider was definitely going to be an unparalleled battle. Kang Xinmu quietly approached. When he was within 10 miles of the bone-piercing winter spider, he did not dare to move forward. This was because he could see that not far in front of him, there was a deep pit in the ground. The deep pit had long been covered in ice, and from within the ice pit, there were small bone-piercing winter spiders crawling out. This was a bone-piercing winter spider's lair. Looking at the location, the deep pit happened to be where Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyue had met up and fought the mad human beast and the other earth fae. Could it be that because of their battle, this sky demon bone-piercing winter spider was lured out? Who would have thought that a bone-piercing winter spider would appear so close to the depths of the heavenly dry forest? In short, this bone-piercing winter spider had to be killed. If not, the Jiang clan's demon-slaying training would be cancelled early. Otherwise, countless Jiang clan dragon warriors would die at the hands of this bone-piercing winter spider. Kang Xinmu did not dare to move forward, mainly because he saw 2 small bone-piercing winter spiders crawling out from the edge of the deep pit. Even the small bone-piercing winter spiders were 10 feet tall, and each frost spider's legs were more than 20 feet long. They looked even more frightening than the black dragon that Kang Xinmu had transformed into. Most importantly, these small bone-piercing winter spiders were at least at the 5th layer of the Earth Fae level. The current Kang Xinmu was no match for them. Therefore, he did not dare to go any closer. He could only find a huge tree and climb up. Hiding in the dense foliage, he should not be discovered by the bone-piercing winter spiders. Chapter 38-24. In front of them, the huge bone-piercing winter spider was already fighting with the 5 Jiang clan reinforcements. These 5 reinforcements had all surpassed the Dragon Ascension realm. They had reached the higher realm of the God Martial realm. The God Martial realm was on the same level as the Sky Fae. However, it was clear that the bone-piercing winter spider had already reached the peak of Sky Fae. It was just a step away from becoming the king of Sky Fae in the entire sky-driving forest. And these God Martial Realm Jiang clan reinforcements were only at the middle stage of the God Martial Realm. To fight against the bone-piercing winter spider, even if they joined forces, they would still be under pressure. The crux of the matter was that these 5 people were only inheritors of the mortal dragon blood essence. After all, if they were inheritors of the true dragon, once they reached the divine martial realm, they would be considered existences with a certain status in the Jiang tribal clan. It was impossible for them to be the rescuers for the demon-slaying training. 5 mortal dragon inheritors fighting against a bone-piercing winter spider that was close to the peak of Sky Fae, the pressure they faced could be imagined. This was equivalent to Jiang Haisheng's group of 5 from the Grand Supreme Palace fighting against the 4th layer Earth Fae. It was extremely difficult. Even if they won in the end, they would still be seriously injured. Not to mention, there were countless small bone-piercing winter spiders crawling out from the deep ice pit. Although these bone-piercing winter spiders could not fly, they could weave webs with frost spider silk, creating an inescapable net in the sky. Furthermore, many of the smaller bone-piercing winter spiders were able to shoot frost spider silk into the air, interfering with the actions of the 5 rescuing experts. In short, this battle was quite difficult for the dragon warriors. They could only temporarily stall the bone-piercing winter spider and wait for the other Jiang clan experts to arrive. Unfortunately, those 2 are already dead. The moment the 5 reinforcements arrived, 4 of them unleashed a powerful dragon martial skill against the bone-piercing winter spider. Another one went down to check on the clear ripple water dragon. Another one was a junior dragon warrior who had just transformed into a dragon. Unfortunately, the 2 divine dragons had already lost their breath, completely dead under the frost spider silk. Under the attack of a peak heavenly demon bone-piercing winter spider, a dragon warrior who had just transformed into a dragon was simply not a match. As long as they were entangled by the spider silk, the power of the cold ice would instantly freeze their bodies, turning their organs into ice cubes. In this way, it would be impossible for them to survive. Kang Xinmu hid in the dense forest at the side and climbed up to the top of a huge tree. As expected, he wasn't discovered by the 2 small bone-piercing winter spiders. He couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. He raised his head and looked at the battle in the distant sky. He could see the bodies of 5 ordinary dragons, each 200 feet long, moving around the bone-piercing winter spider. They were constantly releasing terrifying and tyrannical dragon martial skills to attack it. Although they only had the bodies of mortal dragons, because these 5 experts had stepped into the divine martial arts realm from the Dragon Ascension realm, their mortal dragons' bodies had also increased to 60 feet in length. If it was a true dragon inheritor, when they stepped into the divine martial arts realm from the Dragon Ascension realm, their body length would also double to about 60 feet. Like Kang Xinmu, who was still in the mortal dragon stage and had reached the 1st layer of the Dragon Ascension realm, this kind of situation was simply impossible. Kang Xinmu was very clear that there was something strange about his black dragon inheritance, but as for what exactly was strange, he couldn't figure it out. Dragon martial skill, Thunder Fury. In the distant sky, a thunder dragon let out an angry roar. Suddenly, it summoned countless thick pillars of lightning from the clouds high up in the sky. The pillars of lightning crashed down on the bone-piercing winter spider. The power of each pillar of lightning was 10 times stronger than the one Jiang Cheng had used against Jiang Xinwu. This was the difference between the Dragon Ascension realm and the Divine Martial Arts realm, and also the difference between practicing and not practicing dragon martial skills. It was unknown what level of dragon martial skill this Thunderbolt Fury was. However, if Jiang Cheng had practiced it back then, he would not have needed to spend so much effort to deal with Jiang Shenwu. With just one Thunderbolt Fury, even 3 Jiang Shenwus would have died by his hands. However, it was a pity that a dragon martial skill like Thunder Fury had a specific attribute. Only a dragon martial artist with the corresponding attribute could practice it. For example, a black dragon inheritor like Kong Shinmu couldn't practice this kind of dragon martial skill, because he didn't have the power of thunder. This made Kong Shinmu quite puzzled, but there was nothing he could do about it. During the Yen Dragon ritual, what kind of divine dragon essence and blood inheritance one could obtain was completely not up to him. Especially Kong Shinmu, this black dragon essence and blood inheritance seemed to have taken the initiative to find him, and it seemed to be related to his father, Jiang Zizai. Thinking of this, Kong Shinmu clenched his fists. However, although the Thunder Fury dragon martial skill was incomparably tyrannical, it still didn't have any effect on the bone-piercing winter spider. The bone-piercing winter spider didn't even look at it, and directly spat out a mouthful of ice spider silk, which formed an ice spider web above its head. The lightning pillars that filled the sky descended from the sky and landed on the ice spider web. However, they were all blocked. Moreover, the ice aura attached to the ice spiderweb even froze the lightning pillars, forming a rare spectacle. The bone-piercing winter spider lifted its frost spider leg and swept across, directly sweeping away the 300 feet long thunder dragon. The thunder dragon crashed into the dense forest in the distance, knocking down countless giant trees. Rocks and dirt flew everywhere, and dust flew everywhere. Just the bone-piercing winter spider's ice crystal spider legs alone, each 300 to 400 feet long, could easily sweep away the body of a divine dragon. Dragon martial skill, fiery dragon body. The other fire divine dragon, at this moment, was wrapped in raging flames. Like a meteorite, it fell from the sky and directly fell towards the bone-piercing winter spider. The extremely high temperature almost melted the sky. Kong Shinmu looked over and saw that the sky was distorted. It was an illusion caused by the extremely high temperature. The fiery dragon body was a dragon martial skill suitable for fire attribute martial artists to practice. Logically, fire could restrain ice, but when the difference in strength was too great, the so-called restraint was useless. Chapter 38-25. Kong Shinmu watched from afar as the 5 Jiang clan reinforcements battled with the huge bone-piercing winter spider. All sorts of dragon martial techniques emerged one after another, but they were unable to do anything to the bone-piercing winter spider. The key was that the 5 people's cultivation levels were too low. If each of them could increase their cultivation by 1 or 2 levels, the battle would undoubtedly become much simpler. As the battle went on for a period of time, many of the smaller bone-piercing winter spiders below also joined in the battle. There was a constant stream of bone-piercing winter spiders flying towards the sky from below. The 5 mystical dragons who were fighting released frost spider webs, harassing them in their battle, causing the 5 of them to suffer unspeakably. Kong Shinmu watched from afar and quickly estimated that other than the huge bone-piercing winter spider, there were at least 100 smaller bone-piercing winter spiders crawling out of the ice pit. And every single one of them was a 5th or 6th layer existence. With so many small bone-piercing winter spiders, if I were to kill them all and take their monster cores, then there would be no suspense in this demon-slaying training. What a pity, a 5th or 6th layer earth demon is not something I can deal with. Kong Shinmu felt a deep sense of pity. If such an opportunity had been given to Jiang Liuxue, the inheritor of the Sky Dragon's blood essence, she would definitely have taken the opportunity to hunt down many of the smaller bone-piercing winter spiders. In this way, the gap between the Grand Supreme Palace and the Northern Palace would widen. Without a doubt, if Kong Shinmu were to fight against these small bone-piercing winter spiders, even if there was only one of them, as long as they hit Kong Shinmu with their frost spider silk, Kong Shinmu would have no chance of survival. However, when he saw a fourth layer piercing cold spider slowly crawl out of the ice pit, an idea suddenly popped up in his mind. This idea was extremely dangerous, but the opportunity within it was something that Kang Xinmu had no way of rejecting. The power of devouring. As long as I devour a fourth layer earth demon level bone piercing winter spider, for a period of time, my resistance to the power of ice will increase. Under these circumstances, I might be able to deal with a fifth layer earth demon level bone piercing winter spider. Then, his resistance to the power of ice will become even stronger? As soon as Kang Xinmu thought of this, he couldn't help but feel excited and his heart beat faster. He was very clear that this was extremely dangerous. Moreover, if he were to devour a level 4 earth demon bone piercing winter spider, it would still be very difficult for his resistance against the power of ice to reach the level of a level 5 earth demon bone piercing winter spider. But he was sure that if he could devour 3 or more fourth layer bone piercing cold spider earth demons, his body's resistance to the power of ice would definitely be enough to fight against a fifth layer bone piercing cold spider earth demon. Most importantly, he needed to devour 3 fourth layer earth demons in a short period of time. This was no joke. If there was a third layer bone piercing cold spider earth demon, then he could start from the third layer. But without a doubt, the weakest bone-piercing cold spider that Kang Xinmu had seen so far was also at the fourth layer. And the most difficult thing was that he hadn't seen a single one at all. This made it almost impossible for him to do anything. Even though he had seen many fourth layer earth demons, but if 2 fourth layer bone-piercing cold spiders were to come together, then it was definitely not something that he could deal with. He was very clear on this point. That's right, the clear ripple water dragon. Kang Xinmu suddenly thought of this, and suddenly looked towards one of the legs of the huge bone-piercing cold spider. Sure enough, under that leg, there was the corpse of the clear ripple water dragon. Most of it had already been devoured by the bone-piercing cold spider, leaving behind only some internal organs and dragon bones. But, even if it was just a divine dragon's corpse, it was still extremely useful to Kang Xinmu, especially the dragon bones. Now that the clear ripple water dragon had been devoured, with only the dragon bones left, there were no other bone-piercing cold spiders nearby. If Kang Xinmu stealthily rushed over, he might be able to devour all the dragon bones. Devouring the dragon bones could gradually increase the quality of the black dragon's blood that Kang Xinmu had inherited. Even though it was only a quantitative change before it reached the true dragon level, and the increase in strength would not be very obvious, this was an opportunity that was extremely precious to Kang Xinmu. Because, how could it be so easy to devour the divine dragon bones normally? Under such circumstances, he had such an opportunity, and as long as he did it covertly, there would be no suspicion. After all, the clear ripple water dragon was devoured by the bone-piercing cold spiders, so no one would suspect Kang Xinmu. Jiang Xinyu, Jiang Luo, and Jiang Cheng were different. The disappearance of these 3 would definitely attract the attention of people who would investigate. This was a rare opportunity, and Kang Xinmu did not want to miss it. And the idea that he had just come up with could also be implemented after devouring the dragon bones. In the battlefield, there was not only the dragon bones of the clear ripple water dragon. Logically speaking, there should also be the corpse of Jiang Qiyue's subordinate. It was just that Kang Xinmu had not found it yet. If he devoured both dragon bones, Kang Xinmu's devouring power would be at least 20% to 30% stronger than before. This way, he would be more confident in using it to deal with the bone-piercing cold spiders. Kang Xinmu had never been a procrastinator, or else he would not have been able to step into the Dragon Ascension realm at such a young age. However, the difficulty lay in the fact that from where Kang Xinmu was now to where the corpse of the clear ripple water dragon was located, there was still a distance of at least 20 miles. In this distance, there were at least 2 or 3 groups of small bone-piercing cold spiders constantly patrolling. From time to time, they would release frost spider silk into the air to harass the 5 divine martial realm dragon warriors. Kang Shinmu had to avoid the eyes and ears of these small bone-piercing cold spiders in order to reach the corpse of the clear ripple water dragon. If I am careful, I should not be discovered. If I walk on the tree, I can hide in the dense foliage. Kang Shinmu thought to himself, and then immediately began to move. Taking advantage of the time when the small bone-piercing cold spiders did not notice him, he immediately jumped from the giant tree he was hiding in to another giant tree. His figure flashed in the air, and only the sound of his body rubbing against the leaves could be heard. Such a sound was not rare in the sky-dry forest. Even a gust of wind could produce such a sound. Therefore, Kang Shinmu did not attract the attention of those small bone-piercing cold spiders. This allowed Kang Shinmu to finally breathe a sigh of relief. After jumping once, there was no trace of the small bone-piercing cold spiders in front of him. He jumped over several giant trees in succession, and this closed the distance between him and the corpse of the clear ripple water dragon. Chapter 38-26. Kang Shinmu tiptoed towards the corpse of the clear wave water dragon. In front of him, the giant bone-piercing winter spider and the 5 Jiang clan experts were engaged in an intense battle. Ice power, lightning power, flame power. All sorts of powers were constantly exploding in the air, as if the entire forest was going to be razed to the ground. Giant trees were constantly being struck by all sorts of powers, either falling to the ground or being directly destroyed, turning into dust. Kang Shinmu carefully advanced, constantly avoiding the small bone-piercing winter spiders that appeared along the way. Once there was a possibility of being discovered, he would immediately stop. Even if it was a waste of time, he had to ensure his own safety. This was because he didn't know what these bone-piercing winter spiders relied on to communicate. If he were to alarm one of them, it would attract all of the surrounding bone-piercing winter spiders, and even attract the attention of the giant bone-piercing winter spiders. That would be too unlucky. As the sky gradually darkened, Kang Shinmu was getting closer and closer to the clear wave water dragon. There's still about 70 to 80 miles from the agreed-upon place with Jiang Yuaning. But from that place, I can feel the battle here. I don't know if Jiang Yuaning will wait for me there, or will she come alone. Jiang Shunwu was a little uncertain in his heart. He hoped that Jiang Yuaning would be waiting for him at the agreed location, but on second thought, now that the giant bone-piercing winter spiders had appeared, there were also many smaller spiders scattered throughout the forest. If he wanted to go out to hunt demon beasts at night, the difficulty would greatly increase. So, should he continue with the operation at night? Kang Shinmu wasn't very sure, but no matter what, he couldn't stop his operation. He had to devour the bones of the clear wave water dragon. This was an extremely rare opportunity that he couldn't miss. Under the dusk of the setting sun, he constantly approached the skeleton of the clear wave water dragon. Because the skeleton had already been completely devoured, leaving only the bones behind, the nearby bone-piercing winter spiders no longer had any interest in it. They were all separately searching for other food. It was obvious that some of the earth demons and demonic beasts in this area would suffer a calamity. One had to know that among the demonic beasts in this area, the strongest were usually only at the 4th layer of the earth demon realm. But now, every single one of the bone-piercing winter spiders that appeared from the icy crater was at least at this level. Most of them were at the 5th layer or even the 6th layer, and there were even some at the 7th or 8th layer. However, the fact that those earth demons were killed by the bone-piercing winter spiders had nothing to do with Kang Shinmu. It was impossible for him to benefit from it, because the earth demon's demon core was also a great tonic for the bone-piercing winter spiders. After killing those earth demons, the bone-piercing winter spiders wouldn't leave behind anything useful. At most, they would leave behind a pile of bones like the clear wave water dragon. Kang Shinmu could devour the bones of a divine dragon to raise the grade of his inherited blood essence. But for the bones of an earth demon, even if Kang Shinmu completely devoured them, it wouldn't be of much use. At most, it would help him recover some of his strength. Kang Xinmu didn't think too much about it. He maintained 120% vigilance and finally arrived near the clear wave water dragon's bones before the sun completely set. Moreover, he also found the bones of another divine dragon. The clear wave water dragon was Jiang Qingyun's lackey, and the other divine dragon skeleton was Jiang Qiue's lackey. Both of them had a lackey that had been killed by a giant bone-piercing winter spider and eaten by a large number of smaller bone-piercing winter spiders. This made Kang Xinmu think of another subordinate of Jiang Qingyun. That was the emerald rock dragon that was similar in strength to the clear wave water dragon. Previously, it was chased by a large group of backstab boars and was taken advantage of by Kang Xinmu. This emerald rock dragon was on its last breath and should be in the dense forest tens of kilometers away. I wonder what happened to that fellow. If it's not dead, it should have escaped. If it's dead, it should have left behind some of its bones. Kang Xinmu thought to himself as he quietly dragged the clear wave water dragon's bones to an extremely dense shrub. He carefully gathered his devouring power and covered the dragon's bones. The devouring power continuously devoured the energy contained within the dragon's bones, causing the black dragon's inherited blood essence in Kang Xinmu's body to gradually boil. Under the devouring power, his original grade of a mortal dragon rose again. At the same time, Kang Xinmu was constantly paying attention to his surroundings. Even the slightest movement would attract his attention. If it wasn't for the fact that the clear wave water dragon's bones were too big, he would have dragged it into the dense forest to devour it. That way, it would be much safer. Unfortunately, the skeleton was too big. If he wanted to drag it up the tree, it would definitely attract the attention of the nearby bone-piercing winter spiders. Take it slow. Kang Xinmu was not in a hurry. Even though the sky was gradually darkening, he was not worried. After all, his battle strength would not decrease at night, and he did not need to rest. At most, his visibility would decrease during the night, but in the dense forest, the decrease in visibility was not much. After all, he could not see too far away. As Kang Xinmu continued to devour, the clear wave water dragon's bones became smaller and smaller. All of it became part of Kang Xinmu's energy, causing the grade of his inherited blood essence to constantly increase. In the dense forest near Jiangshanwu, there were constantly small bone-piercing winter spiders walking back and forth, searching for anything edible in the dense forest. All living things would be swallowed into the stomachs of these bone-piercing winter spiders, becoming food in their bellies. And in the sky, as the sky gradually darkened, two divine dragon experts finally arrived. They were both powerful existences of the Jiang clan. These two divine dragons were both 600 feet long. They were also existences of the divine martial realm, but they were true dragon martial artists. The true dragon blood essence they had obtained was a true dragon-level divine dragon. The strength of these two dragon warriors was clearly stronger than the previous 5 added together. When these two people appeared, there was no longer any suspense in the battle. Even the strong bone-piercing winter spider was not a match for these two people. Unfortunately, as the sky darkened, Kang Xinmu could only hear the sounds of the fierce battle in the sky, but he could not see how they fought. Chapter 38-27. The bones of the clear wave water dragon disappeared without a trace, but it did not attract the attention of the bone-piercing winter spiders. That was because, following the arrival of the two true dragon descendants, the surrounding small bone-piercing winter spiders also joined the battle. Originally, they were still looking for food, but now, they were completely immersed in the battle. The giant bone-piercing winter spiders might have exhausted the strength of the original 5 mortal dragon descendants after such a long battle, but the two true dragon descendants were extremely powerful. With just the 2 of them, they were able to completely suppress the giant bone-piercing winter spiders. Under such circumstances, the small bone-piercing winter spiders could only help, and Kang Xinmu had more opportunities. He followed the location of the other divine dragon skeleton according to his memory and continued to move forward in the dark. Soon, he reached the vicinity of the other divine dragon skeleton and dragged it into the dense forest to start devouring it. The devouring power condensed and enveloped the entire divine dragon skeleton. In the process of continuously devouring, Jiang Shenwu listened to the intense battle taking place in the sky not far away. He felt a little fascinated. Although he couldn't see the scene, he could imagine how soul-stirring it would be when experts of such caliber fought each other. However, all of this had nothing to do with him now. After all, the battle between powerhouses would not affect him. In this hidden forest, he silently devoured the dragon bones of the divine dragon and raised the grade of his inherited essence blood. Now, the only thing he was worried about was what Jiang Yuaning would do. After all, it was already night time. After I finish absorbing the dragon skeleton, I'll go back and look for Jiang Yuaning. Otherwise, I'm really worried that something might have happened to her. Kang Xinmu thought to himself as he absorbed the dragon skeleton at an even faster speed. After about half an hour, the dragon skeleton was finally completely absorbed by him. His devouring power once again increased by about 10%. Although the current Kang Xinmu was still a dragon descendant of the mortal dragon, he did not feel too much pressure even when fighting against a fourth-layer earth demon. After absorbing the two dragons' bones, the power of Kang Xinmu's devouring power had increased, and his devouring efficiency had increased. Fighting against powerful existences would be more stable. His chances of killing these bone-piercing winter spiders had increased. However, Kang Xinmu was a little worried about Jiang Yuaning. With Jiang Yuaning's help, dealing with these small bone-piercing winter spiders would be more efficient and safer. It was better to go back and meet up with her. Following that, Kang Xinmu continued to jump from the thicket, rushing towards the periphery of the Sky Herald Forest. He was still more than 20 miles away from the place where he and Jiang Yuaning had agreed to meet. At this time, an ice spider silk suddenly shot toward him from nearby, and the sudden sound of the wind alerted him. The bone-piercing winter spiders have actually reached this location. Jiang Shenwu was a little surprised because this place was already very far away from the giant bone-piercing winter spider. Logically speaking, shouldn't those small bone-piercing winter spiders be surrounding the giant bone-piercing winter spider and helping it fight against the two true dragon inheritance dragon martial artists? However, the fact that there was a spider's silk shooting over was a fact. Kang Xinmu did not dare to hesitate and immediately rolled on the ground, narrowly avoiding the opponent's sneak attack. However, the frost power contained in the spider's silk still caused his cheeks to hurt. Bits of ice appeared on his cheeks, causing his entire body to involuntarily tremble. This bone-piercing winter spider should be a fifth-layer earth demon? Kang Xinmu thought to himself. The difference between a fourth-layer earth demon and a fifth-layer earth demon was simply too great. Under the current circumstances, it was impossible for Kang Xinmu to fight against it. Most importantly, the opponent's numbers were uncertain. Perhaps there was only one, but it was more likely that there were two bone-piercing winter spiders moving at the same time. This caused Kang Xinmu to not dare to turn his head back. He ran as fast as he could into the distance. The sound of the frost spider's silk piercing through the air once again came from behind him. Kang Xinmu dodged behind a huge tree, then jumped and rolled. The frost spider's silk instantly pierced through the huge tree, then passed under Kang Xinmu's feet, and shot towards another huge tree in front of him, knocking it down with a loud rumble. The frost power condensed into ice flowers along the way, and the sound of rustling constantly came from behind Kang Xinmu. The bone-piercing winter spider had actually locked onto Kang Xinmu and was constantly chasing after him. This thing, why is it so thirsty? Kang Xinmu was somewhat puzzled. However, he was still able to pass through the dense forest and escape. Right now, the sky was not completely dark, and there was still a trace of dim light that allowed him to roughly see the terrain in front of him. However, if he waited for a while longer, it might not be certain. Kang Shinmu and the bone-piercing winter spider, one in front and one behind, quickly chased after each other. Very quickly, two frost spider silks shot over. Kang Shinmu only felt a burst of cold air coming from his left and right, causing his entire body to shiver. It actually shot out two spider silks at the same time. He had no place to dodge, so he could only use all his strength to leap into the sky. However, this way, he had no foothold in the air, making it even more dangerous. As expected, the bone-piercing winter spider wanted this effect. When Kang Shinmu jumped, the bone-piercing winter spider shot out another spider silk directly towards his location. In this state, there was no way for Kang Shinmu to dodge. Pooh! The frost spider silk shot directly into Kang Shinmu's thigh, directly piercing through his thigh. Kang Shinmu is big? 4,000? Fresh blood spurted out, but he gritted his teeth and did not stop. He only took out a first-layer Earth Demon's monster core from his bosom and directly covered it with his devouring power. That frost spider silk pierced through Kang Shinmu's thigh. Very quickly, the power of ice spread from his thigh to his entire body, almost completely freezing his entire body. However, after Kang Shinmu devoured the power of Earth from the Earth Demon's monster core, the condition of his entire body was slightly alleviated. At the same time, he also condensed his devouring power at the wound on his thigh and began to devour the power of the frost spider silk. Gradually, Kang Shinmu's resistance towards the power of ice began to increase. However, at this time, the tyrannical bone-piercing winter spider had already quickly caught up. As long as its ice crystal spider legs stabbed towards Kang Shinmu, he would not be able to dodge. Because his entire body was ice cold, any movement would be extremely stiff. Don't tell me I have to wait for the bone-piercing winter spider to rush over and engage in a melee with it. Chapter 38-28. Just as Kang Shinmu was about to engage in a melee, a ray of light suddenly appeared from the side. The power of the moon instantly spilled out from the darkness, condensing into rays of saber light that rushed towards the bone-piercing winter spider that was chasing after Kang Shinmu. First, the saber light of the moon power instantly cut off the frost spider silk on Kang Shinmu's thigh, allowing him to recover some of his mobility. This made Kang Shinmu happy. Jiang Yuaning had come. Fortunately, this place was not far from the place where Kang Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning had agreed to meet. Perhaps Jiang Yuaning had sensed that something was wrong here, so she ran over to help. It was also possible that she just happened to be on her way to the giant bone-piercing winter spider and happened to run into Kang Shinmu's matter. In any case, the two finally met up before nightfall. In the Sky Drive forest, there was no need to mention the danger of being alone. Not to mention that the entire forest was now the territory of the bone-piercing winter spider, so it was even more dangerous to run around recklessly. Kang Shinmu, how are you? Jiang Yuaning's concerned voice came from the darkness. 4,000 at the same time, a continuous stream of saber light of the moon power condensed from all directions in the darkness and shot towards the bone-piercing winter spider. It was obvious that Jiang Yuaning was moving quickly. She didn't want the bone-piercing winter spider to discover her position. Otherwise, a strand of frost spider silk might injure Jiang Yuaning, and that would be tragic. No problem, let's work together to kill this thing. Kang Shinmu replied softly. This thing has been chasing me for quite a distance. I can confirm that this is the one behind us. That's good. Jiang Yuaning's dignified voice came, followed by a dragon's roar. It directly transformed into a moonlight star dragon and began to fly into the air, hiding in the middle of the lush branches and leaves of the giant tree. As it soared, the moonlight saber light constantly fell from all directions, sweeping towards the bone-piercing winter spider. The bone-piercing winter spider's agility was displayed at this moment. It practically didn't need to deliberately dodge. Its extremely long ice crystal spider legs only needed to casually move, and it was able to nimbly traverse through the dense forest, dodging all the moonlight blade lights. The bone-piercing winter spider looked fragile, but its extremely flexible characteristics, coupled with the extreme cold power all over its body, could easily subdue its opponent. Not to mention, whether it was Kang Xinmu or Jiang Yuaning, they were only dragon martial artists of the first layer of the Dragon Ascension realm. Even if Jiang Yuaning had awakened the inheritance of the true dragon blood, compared to the fifth layer of the Earth Demon realm, she was still a notch weaker. At this time, Kang Xinmu relaxed. The frost spider silk left in his thigh gradually softened and was completely swallowed by him, becoming his own strength, and giving him a trace of resistance to the cold power. This resistance, of course, was not enough for him to fight against the fifth layer of the Earth Demon realm, but he was not in a hurry. Jiang Yuaning constantly launched attacks at the bone-piercing winter spider, forcing it to constantly change its position in the dense forest, while Kang Xinmu constantly followed, constantly swallowing the remaining cold power, and constantly improving his resistance to the cold power. Although this kind of improvement was negligible, it could save his life at a critical moment. The key was that in the current situation, if he wanted to break through, this was the only way. And what made Kang Xinmu excited was that very soon, the bone-piercing winter spider finally began to counterattack Jiang Yuaning. Even though the bone-piercing winter spider couldn't figure out where Jiang Yuaning was, it began to constantly shoot frost spider silk, dodging the moonlight saber light and trying to counterattack Jiang Yuaning at the same time. The frost spider silk contained the extreme cold power, which was much stronger than the extreme cold power in the path it was dodging. Kang Xinmu did not stand on ceremony and directly swallowed the frost spider silk, which reflected the weak light, to increase his resistance to the cold power. Jiang Yuaning saw Kang Xinmu's actions. She knew that as long as she continued to delay, when Kang Xinmu's resistance to the cold power reached a certain level, it would be time for them to counterattack. At that time, this fifth-layer Earth Demon Realm bone-piercing winter spider would be a piece of cake. However, the two's plan could be said to be too perfect. Everything they calculated was built on the premise that there were no accidents, and in this kind of sky-drive forest at night, there was never a lack of accidents. Right when the situation seemed to have stabilized, an unexpected event occurred. From another direction, a few strands of spider silk suddenly sprayed towards Jiang Xinwu, and before he could even react, they had completely pierced through his arms and chest. The other bone-piercing winter spider had rushed over. This accident could be said to have caught Kang Xinmu unprepared. His whole body was pierced by 4 frost spider silk, the extreme cold power instantly corroding his body. Fortunately, he now had some resistance to the cold, so he was able to maintain his mobility. Fortunately, it's a 4th-layer Earth Demon Realm bone-piercing winter spider. This discovery could be said to be a blessing in a misfortune. Moreover, Kang Xinmu had an idea. Although he could not deal with the 5th-layer Earth Demon Realm bone-piercing winter spider, he could first deal with the 4th-layer Earth Demon Realm bone-piercing winter spider, using this beast as a springboard to increase his resistance to the cold power for a short period of time. Anyway, right now, Kang Xinmu had already met up with Jiang Yuaning, and Jiang Yuaning was completely capable of holding off the 5th-layer Earth Demon Realm bone-piercing winter spider. There was no need for Kang Xinmu to say anything. When Kang Xinmu turned around and rushed towards the 4th-layer Earth Demon Realm bone-piercing winter spider, Jiang Yuaning already knew his plan, so now, she only needed to help Kang Xinmu block the 5th-layer Earth Demon Realm bone-piercing winter spider. The 4th-layer Earth Demon Realm bone-piercing winter spider completely did not expect Kang Xinmu to dare to attack it, and immediately felt a sense of excitement. Countless frost spider silk continuously condensed, shooting towards Kang Xinmu. In the blink of an eye, Kang Xinmu directly transformed into a dragon. His black dragon body suddenly rumbled, and instantly dodged the frost spider silk shooting towards him. Immediately after, the black dragon flew, leapt, and swung its tail, directly descending on the head of the 4th-layer Earth Demon Realm bone-piercing winter spider, the dragon claws firmly grasping the bone-piercing winter spider, the devouring power condensed on the dragon claws, determined not to let go no matter what. Chapter 38-29. The fourth layer bone-piercing winter spider did not expect Kang Shinmu's speed to suddenly become so fast. In the blink of an eye, Kang Shinmu had descended on its body. When its body was pierced by Kang Shinmu's dragon claws, it let out a sharp hissing sound, and the power of extreme cold instantly erupted from its body. Bone-piercing winter spiders were monsters that were extremely afraid of close combat, because compared to other monsters, their bodies were much weaker. Therefore, it instantly wanted to break free from Kang Shinmu's restraint. Unfortunately, how could Kang Shinmu let it do as it wished? Once his dragon claws were locked, he would not let go. His devouring power continued to devour the opponent's strength. Even though the black dragon's body was quickly frozen into an ice cube by the power of extreme cold on the bone-piercing winter spider's body, Kang Shinmu's dragon claws did not relax in the slightest. Just like that, the two of them grappled with each other. Jiang Shenwu felt an endless chill sweeping towards him from all directions. It penetrated deep into his body from the surface of the black dragon's body, causing his entire body to almost lose consciousness and sensation. However, his dragon claws were locked tightly on the bone-piercing winter spider's body. This would not change. Even if he lost consciousness, using the devouring power to devour the opponent's flesh and blood essence was already a subconscious action. There was no need for him to actively control it. On the other side, Jiang Yuaning was fighting with the fifth-layer earth demon bone-piercing winter spider. Both sides didn't get close to each other and only used their skills from a distance. Whether it was the frost spider's silk or the moonlight power blade light, they both posed a great threat to each other. Under such circumstances, if the fifth-layer earth demon-level bone-piercing winter spider wanted to help deal with Jiang Shenwu, it would inevitably have to pay the price of being injured by the saber light of the moonlight. It would definitely not be willing to do so. Under such circumstances, Kang Shinmu and the fourth-layer bone-piercing winter spider were already in a one-on-one situation. As for Kang Shinmu's black dragon body, the devouring power continued to erupt. As time passed, it did not take long before the power of extreme cold on the surface of Kang Shinmu's body began to weaken. The bone-piercing winter spider struggled for a long time, but was unable to get up. Jiang Shenwu's dragon claws held it in place, and the devouring power continued to devour the blood, flesh, and life essence within its body. Gradually, the damage it could do to Jiang Shenwu became less and less, and the power of ice became weaker and weaker. Kang Shinmu's body's resistance to extreme cold continued to increase. After fighting for about a quarter of an hour, Kang Shinmu had turned from being at a complete disadvantage to being evenly matched. Under such circumstances, the scales of victory were already tilting towards Kang Shinmu's side. If not for the fact that Kang Shinmu had just devoured some frost spider silk from the fifth-layer bone-piercing winter spider and gained some resistance to extreme cold, he would most likely have been killed by the fourth-layer bone-piercing winter spider. However, now, the opponent had completely lost the opportunity to kill Kang Shinmu. Following the eruption of Jiang Shenwu's devouring power once again, Jiang Shenwu's body's resistance to the power of extreme cold once again rose to another level. A mere fourth-layer bone-piercing cold spider earth demon could no longer harm his body as a black dragon. Good job. From afar, Jiang Yuaning could feel the changes in the aura of the two combatants. Kang Shinmu had gone from weak to strong, while the fourth-layer bone-piercing winter spider had gone from strong to weak. She heaved a sigh of relief. From the looks of it, the situation on the battlefield had stabilized. If no other bone-piercing winter spiders joined the battle, the outcome of the battle would have been decided, and the outcome would naturally be Kang Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning's side winning. In this way, they could join forces to hunt down the smaller bone-piercing winter spiders and obtain more earth demon cores. In the next moment, Kang Shinmu had almost devoured the fourth-layer bone-piercing winter spider. The entire bone-piercing winter spider was on the verge of death. With a swing of his dragon tail, Kang Shinmu smashed the extremely weak bone-piercing winter spider to death. At the same time, the black dragon soared into the sky, his entire body covered in a layer of ice. Occasionally, the moonlight that shone through the shade of the trees flickered with a dazzling radiance. The fifth-layer bone-piercing winter spider did not expect that its own kind would be killed by a mere ordinary dragon martial artist. Moreover, it was only a first-layer Dragon Ascension Realm martial artist who did not even know any dragon martial techniques. This actually caused a kind of fear to arise in its heart. Seeing the fourth-layer bone-piercing winter spider being smashed by Kang Shinmu's dragon tail, the fifth-layer bone-piercing winter spider actually had the thought of retreating. However, when the bone-piercing winter spider wanted to retreat, the moonlight saber light surged in from all directions, leaving it with no chance to escape. The black dragon descended from the sky, and under the cover of the moonlight saber light, it easily approached the bone-piercing winter spider. Kang Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning launched a pincer attack on the fifth-layer bone-piercing winter spider, leaving it with nowhere to escape. Ice spider silk was constantly released, surging towards the black dragon's location. Unfortunately, Kang Shinmu had an extremely strong resistance to the power of extreme cold. Even this fifth-layer bone-piercing winter spider was unable to cause too much of an effect on Kang Shinmu. The power of extreme cold was able to completely freeze the blood of a dragon martial artist, making it impossible to circulate. Especially the power of extreme cold in the bone-piercing winter spider's body, it also contained a special kind of cold poison. Just resisting the cold was far from enough. Unfortunately, Kang Shinmu's devouring power was completely tailored to the problem. Whatever power he devoured, what could he resist? 4,000 watt power. Whether it was the pure cold or the cold poison in the bone-piercing winter spider's body, they were unable to cause too much of an effect on Kang Shinmu. Of course, if this continued, only death awaited Kang Shinmu. After all, his opponent was a fifth-layer bone-piercing winter spider. Therefore, Kang Shinmu had to control the fifth-layer bone-piercing winter spider before he could not hold on any longer, and then devour its flesh and blood essence. This way, he could also increase his body's resistance to the cold and cold poison. With Jiang Yuaning's help, it was extremely easy to achieve this. The moonlight energy condensed into starlight saber light, constantly surging towards the bone-piercing winter spider from all directions, leaving only one direction for it to dodge. The bone-piercing winter spider had to either endure the moonlight saber light, or be caught by Kang Shinmu. Comparing the two, the bone-piercing winter spider chose the latter, which was to be caught by Kang Shinmu. This was because, in its view, Jiang Yuaning was a true dragon inheritor, and the moonlight saber light definitely could not be forcefully endured. But Kang Shinmu was only a dragon martial artist with the inheritance of a mortal dragon. Chapter 38:30. The fifth-layer Earth Demon-level bone-piercing winter spider made the most regretful decision of its life. If it had chosen to forcefully resist the power of the moonlight and escape, it might have been able to survive. Moreover, it wouldn't have led to the deaths of more bone-piercing winter spiders. However, it chose to avoid the power of the moonlight and chose to face Jiang Shinmu head-on. Kang Shinmu's black dragon instantly collided with the bone-piercing winter spider's body. A bone-piercing cold air instantly enveloped Kang Shinmu's entire body. However, with the power of extreme cold, Kang Shinmu was not completely frozen. Instead, he extended his incomparably sharp dragon claws and pierced them directly into the body of the bone-piercing winter spider. Without any fancy movements, Kang Shinmu's devouring power began to condense, continuously devouring the bone-piercing winter spider's life, flesh, and essence, as well as the power of extreme cold within its body. Kang Shinmu continuously absorbed cold toxins into his body, but these cold toxins were unable to harm him much. Instead, they continuously increased his resistance against the power of extreme cold and the cold toxins. In the beginning, Jiang Shenwu was under a lot of pressure. The fifth layer Earth Demon level bone-piercing winter spider was tearing at him with all its might. Moreover, its extremely sharp ice crystal spider legs were able to pierce several large holes in the black dragon's body. However, Kang Xinmu stubbornly persevered, and firmly held back the bone-piercing winter spider. Jiang Yuaning began to harass the bone-piercing winter spider with the power of the moonlight. She was mainly trying to cut off the ice crystal spider's legs. Although the bone-piercing winter spider was struggling against the black dragon, it was undoubtedly very easy to cut off its ice crystal spider's legs. After all, if the black dragon continued to struggle with the bone-piercing winter spider, the bone-piercing winter spider's position would already be fixed. No matter how much the spider moved, it would not be able to get out of that range. Under such circumstances, the bone-piercing winter spider's legs were quickly cut off, which made the bone-piercing winter spider panic. The biggest source of panic was due to Kang Xinmu's devouring power. Under the effect of the devouring power, the bone-piercing winter spider could feel its life constantly slipping away. However, no matter how much it struggled, the bone-piercing winter spider's weak body could not break free from the black dragon's claw. 15 minutes. 30 minutes. Time passed, and soon, night fell. Occasionally, a few rays of moonlight shone through the dense forest, illuminating the bone-piercing winter spider's corpse on the ground. The black dragon that Jiang Shenwu had transformed into had completely disappeared into the night. The moonlight star dragon followed Jiang Shenwu and rushed toward the location of the giant bone-piercing winter spider. There were no other monsters in the forest except for the bone-piercing winter spider. Now that Kang Xinmu had completely devoured the bone-piercing winter spider, his resistance to the power of extreme cold and cold poison had reached a very high level. If he encountered another bone-piercing winter spider, Kang Xinmu would not be afraid at all. Anyway, the bone-piercing winter spider's physical strength was not strong. It mainly relied on the power of extreme cold and cold poison. Now, these were the two things that Kang Xinmu was least afraid of. The two divine dragons were running in the forest, listening to the rumbling sounds of the fierce battle coming from ahead. They didn't get too close, because they knew that the battle between the giant bone-piercing winter spider and the divine martial arts realm expert was absolutely not something they could intervene in. Therefore, Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning circled around the huge bone-piercing winter spider, searching for other smaller bone-piercing winter spiders. The bone-piercing winter spider's body was too big, and it was still in the middle of a fierce battle. The dense forest nearby had long been cleared, turning into a barren land covered in ice. Under the moonlight, the huge bone-piercing winter spider's body could be seen clearly. Including the two divine martial realm true dragon inheritors, their battle with the huge bone-piercing winter spider could be seen by Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning from afar. There are two bone-piercing winter spiders of the fifth realm over there. Under the moonlight, Kang Xinmu constantly observed the situation around the huge bone-piercing winter spiders. There were constantly small bone-piercing winter spiders shooting frost spider silk at the divine martial realm true dragon inheritors to harass them. As for Kang Xinmu, according to the direction and strength of the frost spider silk, he determined that there were two bone-piercing winter spiders of the fifth realm in that area. He followed Jiang Yuaning and flew in that direction. In the dense forest, the divine dragon's flight created a lot of noise. Therefore, when they approached, the two of them transformed into their human forms and quickly arrived near the two bone-piercing winter spiders of the fifth realm. The opponents were hidden in the shadows, and if it weren't for the two frost spider silk shooting into the air above the icy wasteland, it would have been impossible to discover the two little fellows. But now that they had been discovered by Kang Xinmu, their fates had already been decided. Bone-piercing winter spiders of the fifth realm did not pose much of a threat to the current Kang Xinmu. Even if two appeared in front of him and attacked him at the same time, it would be very difficult for him to receive any fatal damage. It was just that if the opponent attacked him at the same time, his movements would be greatly restricted and he might not be able to touch the opponent. After all, the bone-piercing winter spiders were extremely agile. This required Jiang Yuaning's help. The moonlight saber light was the first to condense, and immediately after, it surged towards the two bone-piercing winter spiders. With a loud rumble, it descended from mid-air, sealing off most of the movements of the two bone-piercing winter spiders. Because the two bone-piercing winter spiders did not know how powerful Kang Xinmu was, they directly rushed towards Kang Xinmu's direction. At the same time, they shot out several frost spider silk in an attempt to directly kill Kang Xinmu. Unfortunately, the current Kang Xinmu, not to mention the 5th realm bone-piercing winter spiders, even the 6th realm bone-piercing winter spiders would not be able to kill him with just a few frost spider silk. Kang Xinmu forcibly withstood the attacks of the frost spider silk. His entire body was penetrated by the frost spider silk, but the extreme cold energy and cold poison were unable to harm Kang Xinmu. He only suffered superficial wounds. If it was someone else, perhaps they would really be injured and unable to continue fighting. However, Kang Xinmu was different. Injuries, even if it was a serious injury, were already a common occurrence for him. His entire body was penetrated by the frost spider silk, but he did not even tremble. He transformed into a black dragon and directly pounced towards one of the slow-moving bone-piercing winter spiders. His sharp dragon claws directly pierced into its body. Because the moonlight saber light always gave the bone-piercing winter spiders an illusion of great lethality, they always chose to break through in the direction of Kang Xinmu. This gave Kang Xinmu the biggest opportunity. After the dragon claws grabbed onto one of the spiders, the devouring power was suddenly activated. In the darkness of the night, an endless hunt had begun. Chapter 38-31. The second night. It was the second night in the Sky Herald Forest. Most of the other young dragon warrior geniuses of the Jiang clan who had just reached the dragon ascension stage found a quiet place to rest. Only Jiang Shenwu and Jiang Yuaning, after devouring the earth demon's monster core with their devouring power and replenishing their own strength, continued to hunt demon beasts in the dense forest during the night. On the first night, they had killed many demon beasts. On the second night, their harvest would be even greater than before. Because they were facing the same type of demon beast, Kang Xinmu could constantly devour to maintain his resistance against the power of extreme cold and the cold poison. As they killed more and more bone-piercing winter spiders, his resistance became stronger and stronger. After half a night, they had killed no less than 10 bone-piercing winter spiders. Even the 6th-layer bone-piercing winter spiders were killed by Kang Xinmu. He had completely relied on his close combat skills. The bone-piercing winter spiders looked down on Kang Xinmu, so once they were caught by the dragon claws, they had no chance to escape. This kind of hunting efficiency was absolutely comparable to the speed of the heavenly dragon's successor, Jiang Liuxue. After half a night, the giant bone-piercing winter spider was finally about to be killed. The main battle was nearing its end, and the smaller bone-piercing winter spiders had given up on participating in the battle. Instead, they scattered in all directions. This gave Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning a better hunting opportunity, but the number of bone-piercing winter spiders they could kill had decreased. Of course, this didn't matter much. As long as the two heard any movement in the surroundings, they would immediately head in that direction. Apart from the bone-piercing winter spiders, there was nothing else in the vicinity that would move around at night. It was worth mentioning that now that Kang Xinmu had devoured the flesh, blood, and life essence of 10 bone-piercing winter spiders, his body was flowing with an endless power of extreme cold. This power of extreme cold, to the other bone-piercing winter spiders, had an extremely intimate aura. So before they saw Kang Xinmu, they would be suspicious to see if it was a companion. When Kang Xinmu appeared, he would be able to launch a sneak attack on him, directly control him, and then start devouring him with his devouring power. Moreover, the current Kang Shinmu could somewhat sense the whereabouts of the bone-piercing winter spiders by relying on his familiarity with the power of extreme cold. Even if the bone-piercing winter spiders had passed by an hour ago, they would leave behind a corresponding aura, allowing the current Kang Shinmu to sense them. Although the devouring power wasn't that strong in a head-on battle and didn't have the terrifying explosive and destructive power of lightning and flames, it still had its own unique function. This was what puzzled Kang Shinmu. How could something as powerful as the devouring power only exist in the mortal dragon's inherited blood essence? Could that black dragon be some sort of incredible existence? Rumor had it that the divine dragon clan controlled the entire world. There were all sorts of divine dragons in the legends, but he had never heard of a divine dragon with the devouring power. This made Kang Shinmu feel somewhat uneasy. However, no matter what he wanted to do now was to improve himself. Even if he had to rely on the devouring power, he needed to find traces of his father, Jiang Zizai, and to let his mother live a better life. He needed to become stronger. And the devouring power was the most efficient way for him to do so. With the devouring power, he and Jiang Yuaning could hunt demon beasts at night without needing to rest. Although they needed to consume the power of 2 Earth Demons' monster cores, what they obtained was far more than what they used. After midnight, the giant bone-piercing winter spider was finally killed. The Heaven Demon's monster core must have been taken by the Jiang clan's experts. Then, the Jiang clan sent out many experts to sweep the nearby area. Once they saw any small bone-piercing winter spiders, they would immediately kill them. This was to prevent the bone-piercing winter spiders from chasing the Jiang clan's dragon warriors who were in the midst of their demon-slaying training. In everyone's eyes, the 6th-layer Earth Demon-level bone-piercing winter spiders, other than the heavenly dragon successor Jiang Liuxue, no one else could escape from them. Because of this, the 6th-layer bone-piercing winter spiders had to be eliminated. While searching for bone-piercing winter spiders in the dense forest, many Jiang clan experts saw corpses of bone-piercing winter spiders that had lost their Earth Demon's monster cores. This made them puzzled. Who killed these bone-piercing winter spiders? Among the corpses, there were 5th and 6th-layer Earth Demon-level bone-piercing winter spiders. What could possibly be nearby that could kill them? Could it be that Jiang Liuxue was hunting bone-piercing winter spiders nearby? Thinking about it, besides Jiang Liuxue, there can't be anyone else. Jiang Liuxue killed so many bone-piercing winter spiders. In this demon-slaying training, the Northern Prefecture will definitely take first place. Everyone speculated, but no one could have imagined that the person hunting bone-piercing winter spiders nearby was Kang Shinmu. Kang Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning had also sensed that there were Jiang clan experts searching in the dense forest. Once they found traces of the Jiang clan experts, they would immediately avoid them. They were only searching for bone-piercing winter spiders to kill, and did not want to be discovered by the Jiang clan experts. Later on, the tracks of the bone-piercing winter spiders became fewer and fewer. Even the small bone-piercing winter spiders had been completely searched. At the same time, other than Jiang Shenwu and Jiang Yuaning, the Jiang clan's cleanup experts were also searching for and killing the bone-piercing winter spiders. They had to carry out a cleanup operation in the area and eliminate all the bone-piercing winter spiders before dawn. The opening of the giant bone-piercing winter spider's nest could be said to be an accident in the demon-slaying training. But for Kang Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning, it was an excellent opportunity. On the second night, the two joined forces and killed a total of 25 bone-piercing winter spiders. The majority of the Earth Demon cores they obtained were 5th and 6th layer Earth Demon cores. In other words, they had obtained more than 100 demon-slaying training points. This result made Kang Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning feel incredulous. In the previous demon-slaying training, if they could obtain 200 demon-slaying training points in 3 days, they would be able to take first place in the 5 prefectures. But now, Kang Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning had obtained more than 200 points in 2 days and 2 nights, and were even approaching 300 points. Chapter 38-32. Genius 1 second. Remember, if you want to go. TalkNet, providing you with wonderful novels to read. Chapter 65. The final choice. With nearly 300 demon-slaying points, Kang Xinmu was certain that in this demon-slaying experience, the Grand Prince's palace was either first or second. But with his character, even if he got second, he would not be satisfied. He had to get first and cultivate the best dragon technique. Only then would he have a chance of catching up to an existence like Jiang Liuxue. If not, Kang Xinmu's future path would be very difficult. The demon-slaying experience was the first step after they transformed into dragons. After the demon-slaying experience, there would be even more difficult battles waiting for them. If they did not have the best dragon technique to back them up, the battles in the future would be extremely difficult. Especially for Kang Xinmu, he would definitely have to fight against other dragon warriors in the future. In a fight, it was no longer a simple devouring power that could devour the other party. If one did not have a good enough dragon martial technique, the other party could directly kill him. Even if they were in the same realm and had the same mortal dragon inheritance, the other party could still be much stronger than him. The demon-slaying experience was another starting line that Kang Xinmu could not afford to lose. To him, obtaining the Black Dragon's inheritance and the devouring power, even though it was only the inheritance of a mortal dragon, was not too bad. The most important thing was still in the future development. With the dragon martial skill, he could devour even more powerful dragon warriors. Of course, the matter of devouring the dragon martial artists could not be rushed. Jiang Xinwu was not a person who would willfully kill innocent people. It was impossible for him to go around killing dragon martial artists in order to improve himself. Jiang Xinwu would not be able to live with such a practice. Even if he became stronger in the end, so what? The sky gradually brightened. There were no longer any bone-piercing winter spiders in the vicinity of the dense forest. Love go small say Netku. Even the experts of the Jiang clan had entered the ice pit where the bone-piercing winter spiders had crawled out from. They had cleaned up the area and killed all the remaining small bone-piercing winter spiders. In the following day, there would definitely be less demon beasts to hunt in the vicinity. To obtain more demon-slaying experience points, one had to either head deeper into the Drive Sky Forest or go in another direction. Now, many of the people from the Jiang clan participating in the demon-slaying expedition were in other directions. Even if there were people who were near the direction where the giant bone-piercing winter spiders had appeared, they had long since moved elsewhere. For example, Jiang Qingyun and Jiang Qiyue, the two inheritors of the true dragon blood essence. Even they did not dare to face the giant bone-piercing winter spiders or the smaller ones. Apart from Jiang Xinwu and Jiang Yuaning, the only one who could remain in the vicinity last night was Jiang Liuxue. However, Jiang Liuxue probably wouldn't appear in the vicinity. She had long since headed into the depths of the Heaven Drive Forest. Next, Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning were faced with a choice. Should they continue deeper, or should they head in another direction? If they continued deeper, they would likely encounter powerful demon beasts. Even a fifth-layer earth demon was not something the current Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning could deal with. Last night, they were able to deal with the sixth-layer earth demon bone-piercing winter spiders because Kang Xinmu had devoured a large amount of the power of extreme cold. He had a strong resistance against cold ice and cold toxins. Otherwise, he would have long died at the hands of the bone-piercing winter spiders. However, if we head in another direction, we might encounter others, and many of the demon beasts might have already been killed. It won't be easy to get more points. Jiang Yuaning was also very worried about this. If there were enough demon beasts, they would definitely hunt the weaker earth demons. That way, their demon-slaying points would increase faster. Just like when Kang Xinmu had gone to hunt those thorny-back pigs, it was much easier to deal with 3 second-layer earth demons than 1 sixth-layer earth demon. However, the latter required much more effort than the former. However, the weaker earth demons in the periphery of the sky-driving forest had probably been hunted down by others in the past 2 days. Even if they did not die, they would not remain in the periphery and wait to be slaughtered by the dragon warriors. Many earth demons would flee into the depths of the sky-driving forest when they saw that the situation was not good, seeking shelter from some powerful demon beasts. Let's go deeper. As long as we can kill a 5th-layer earth demon, there will definitely be many weaker earth demons in the periphery under its protection. We can kill them along the way. Kang Xinmu said to Jiang Yuaning, although it's a little risky, this is the only way to get first place in the demon-slaying experience. Who knows, we might be able to get 20 to 30 points in the next round. In terms of efficiency, it's still very good. That's right. The only drawback of going deeper into the sky-driving forest was that it was too risky. With the current strength of Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning, even if they joined forces, they might not be able to deal with a 5th-layer earth demon. They still had to rely on the right time and place. Previously, when the two of them joined forces to deal with the bone-piercing winter spiders, it was also because there happened to be a 4th-layer bone-piercing winter spider that gave Kang Xinmu a springboard. Maybe it's not as difficult as we think. Jiang Yuaning smiled. Most of the demonic beasts in the depths of the Heaven Drive forest live in packs. We can also find a pack of demonic beasts and start with the weaker ones. That way, it will be the same as hunting the bone-piercing winter spiders. If the strongest earth demon attacks, I will stop it. What do you think? We can give it a try, but everything depends on us being alive. If there's any danger, we'll have to retreat immediately. Kang Xinmu nodded. The two of them made their decision and continued to advance into the depths of the sky-driving forest hand in hand. The combination of the two of them could be said to be a very powerful one. It was even stronger than the combination of two true dragon martial artists. When dealing with the same type of demon beast, as long as Kang Xinmu devoured some of its power and grew, he could deal with a 5th-layer or even stronger existence. The prerequisite was that Jiang Yuaning could stop those powerful existences before that. Otherwise, before Kang Xinmu could grow, he would have died in the hands of those powerful demon beasts. In particular, some of the more powerful demon beasts, who could control lightning or had extremely strong physical bodies, were undoubtedly a nightmare for Kang Xinmu. A 5th-layer earth demon could easily kill Kang Xinmu with a single move. It would not give Kang Xinmu any chance to devour its power. As they continued to hunt, Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning's cooperation became crucial. Not long after, the two of them passed through the ice pit. Those bone-piercing winter spiders had crawled out of the pit. Unfortunately, they had all been wiped out. Otherwise, if the situation last night had continued for another day and night, Kang Xinmu was sure that the Grand Lord Palace would have obtained the highest demon-slaying points among the 5 prefectures. However, now that the bone-piercing winter spiders were gone, they naturally had to think of other ways to hunt the earth demons. The two of them continued to advance deeper into the sky-driving forest. Danger had quietly surrounded them without them knowing. Chapter 38-33. In the depths of the Heavenly Exorcism Forest, 5th and 6th-layer earth demons would gradually appear. They wouldn't even appear alone, but in groups. In the outskirts of the Heavenly Exorcism Forest, many earth demon groups had already dispersed. Because they had foreseen that the dragon warriors would come to hunt demon beasts, they had gone deeper into the forest to seek refuge. But now, what was about to appear in front of Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning would definitely not be those scattered demon beast groups, but a very large demon beast group. In this kind of group, there were even many demon beasts that had fled from the outskirts of the Heavenly Exorcism Forest to seek refuge. This was exactly what Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning were looking for. As long as the strongest demon beast group was a 5th-layer earth demon and not a 6th-layer earth demon, then they could make a move. As the two of them went deeper into the heavenly exorcism forest, the surrounding dense forest became even more lush. The sunlight was unable to shine through the dense forest's dense leaves. Everywhere was filled with the aura of demon beasts, as well as the smell of blood, lingering in the dense forest. The two of them advanced about 20 kilometers into the depths of the heavenly exorcism forest, but they didn't encounter any demon beasts. This was within Kang Xinmu's expectations. After all, the giant bone-piercing winter spiders had just appeared nearby. Not to mention anything else, just the giant bone-piercing winter spider's sky demon aura and endless cold chi were enough to disperse a large group of demon beasts. After the two of them advanced for more than 30 kilometers, they finally saw the first demon beast group. Fanged hounds. This was an extremely ferocious demon beast group. Moreover, it was a hunting-type demon beast group. In other words, this demon beast group didn't have a fixed residence. They only wandered in the dense forest and hunted. When they saw a weaker demon beast group, they would go up and devour them. If they saw a stronger demon beast, the fanged hounds would move extremely fast in the forest. Other demon beasts wouldn't give up their group's residence and chase after them. It could be said that they were an extremely difficult demon beast to deal with in the heavenly exorcism forest. Kang Xinmu stood on a large rock and saw traces of the fanged hounds in the distance. Therefore, he knew that there was a group of fanged hounds nearby, but he didn't know where they were. Let's be careful. There are fanged dogs nearby. I don't know where they are. Kang Xinmu whispered to Jiang Yuaning. Then, he pulled Jiang Yuaning and hid in a nearby jungle. Kang Xinmu definitely wouldn't take the initiative to provoke the fanged hounds, but he could follow them. That was because the fanged hounds had to hunt every day, and they might soon find a hunting target. While the fanged hounds were fighting with the demonic beasts, Kang Xinmu, 4,000 he and Jiang Yuaning could hide and watch from the sidelines and reap the benefits. Whether it was the fanged hounds or the demonic beasts, they would all become their hunting targets. Putting everything else aside, if they really succeeded, they would be able to gain at least 100 demon-slaying points for the Grand Prince's mansion. Even the heavenly dragon inheritor, Jiang Liuxue, might not be able to obtain such a score easily. If they were to attack a demonic beast group like Jiang Liuxue, they would usually send out the strongest member of the other party. By the time Jiang Liuxue finished off her opponent, the rest of the demonic beasts would have already fled in all directions. It was impossible for them to be left behind for Jiang Liuxue to continue slaughtering. Demonic beasts as stupid as the deep-back barbed boar were really hard to find. However, when those beasts were attacked by the fanged hounds, the situation was completely different. Since the fanged hounds weren't particularly strong, when they were attacked by the fanged hounds, the general beasts would mobilize all of their members to resist the fanged hounds' attack. In the process, there would be casualties on both sides. If Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning joined in, both the fanged hounds and the demonic beasts would suffer greater losses. It was even possible that the entire demonic beast group would be wiped out. Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning patiently hid in the dense forest. Indeed, after a while, they saw a group of fanged hounds pass in front of them. This group of fanged hounds was led by a 5th-layer earth demon. Behind it were at least 10 4th-layer fanged hounds and dozens of 3rd-layer fanged hounds. There wouldn't be too many weaklings in the fanged hound group, because the weaklings would be eliminated and wouldn't be able to adapt to this kind of hunting lifestyle. As for the descendants of the fanged hound group, they would be placed in a relatively safe place to be raised. Every once in a while, the fanged hound group would return to the breeding ground and select a few descendants to hunt with the group. Since the breeding ground of the fanged hound group was extremely hidden, this method was actually very safe. Even if the fanged hounds outside were killed, the descendants of the breeding ground would still be able to grow up and form a new hunting team. Not long after the 35 fanged hounds passed in front of them, Kang Xinmu pulled Jiang Yuaning out of the dense forest and followed the footsteps of the fanged hounds. They were far behind the fanged hounds so that they wouldn't be discovered by the other party and would be able to detect whether there was a battle in front of them. Following the fanged hounds deeper, Kang Xinmu guessed that he and Jiang Yuaning had already penetrated more than 300 kilometers into the sky-dry forest. They were already nearly 50 kilometers away from the ice pit where the bone-piercing winter spiders had appeared. At this time, there was finally some movement in front of them. Obviously, the fanged hound tribe had been keeping an eye on this area for a long time. Without any preparation, the fanged hound beasts scattered in all directions and surrounded the territory of another beast tribe. Then, they launched an attack. Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning jumped onto the treetops and hid in the luxuriant foliage, observing the situation in front of them. There was a group of green ape demonic beasts living on the hillside. There were also some simple wooden houses built on the hillside. The wooden houses were covered with many thick and large leaves. It was obvious that they were a demonic beast group with some intelligence and combat ability. However, in the face of the fanged hound group's attack, the resistance of the green ape demonic beast group was obviously insufficient. Most importantly, they weren't prepared in the slightest. On the other hand, the fanged hound group was quite familiar with the surrounding environment. Every fanged hound could find the most suitable attack route and easily reach the central hinterland of the green ape demonic beast group. Then, they would sneak attack the younger generation behind them. A roar was released from the green ape demonic beast group. Then, a fifth-layer Earth Demon Realm green ape demonic beast vigorously hammered its chest and rushed down from the hillside. It directly rushed towards the fifth-layer Earth Demon Realm fanged hound demonic beast. Chapter 38-34. The fanged hound demonic beasts did not expect that there would be dragon warriors following them. When Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning appeared, all the fanged hounds panicked. They had just experienced a battle and were not in a good state. In addition, each of them had at least 2 corpses of green apes or fanged hounds, so it was even more difficult to deal with them. After being intercepted by Jiang Xinwu and Jiang Yuaning, more than half of the fanged hound demonic beasts chose to avoid them. They dragged the corpses of the fanged hounds and green apes and took a detour. Some fanged hounds put down the corpses they had been dragging and chose to fight against Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning. Unfortunately, Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning came prepared. At this moment, Jiang Yuaning directly turned into a moonlight star dragon. The power of the moonlight condensed into numerous sword lights and poured down. Kang Xinmu also turned into a black dragon of devouring. He followed the moonlight star dragon and bit a fanged hound demonic beast at the level of the 4th level of the Earth Demon Realm. Then, he quickly condensed his devouring power. As the power of the moonlight and the sword lights poured down, several fanged hounds at the level of the 3rd level of the Earth Demon Realm suffered a heavy blow in an instant. One of them even died on the spot. However, there were still many fanged hounds left on the scene. On the other side, the leader of the fanged hounds at the level of the 5th level of the Earth Demon Realm flew into a rage when it saw the 2 dragon warriors. However, it could not turn back to help them at all, because the green ape demonic beasts were holding it back. Originally, it was the leader of the fanged hounds that had blocked the group of green ape demonic beasts. But now, it was the other way around. Seeing that the dragon warriors had blocked the fanged hounds, the green ape demonic beasts took advantage of the situation and blocked the leader of the fanged hounds, not allowing it to turn back to help the other fanged hounds. This situation was exactly what Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning had expected. It was also the greatest guarantee for them to escape unscathed. Kang Xinmu bit a level of the 4th level of the Earth Demon Realm. His devouring power continued to devour the flesh and blood essence of the fanged hound. Although he was attacked by more fanged hounds at the same time, his life was not in danger due to the constant devouring power. The moonlight star dragon rolled over and the power of the moonlight condensed into starlight blades, constantly pouring out in all directions. At the same time, many fanged hounds rushed towards the Moonlight Star Dragon. Their speed was as fast as lightning. Many afterimages of the fanged hounds appeared on the scene. Jiang Yuaning didn't pay any attention to him. Instead, she used her dragon claws to grab the corpses of the fanged hounds and green apes and extracted the demon cores of the earth demons. Soon, she obtained 3 demon cores. This was what she was mainly doing. Kang Xinmu was in charge of delaying the fanged hounds. Soon, Kang Xinmu was bitten by more fanged hounds. He had to take out a demon core of the 2nd level of the earth demon realm to devour its power so that he could recover faster. Otherwise, there would be wounds all over his body and he would not be able to heal in time. Under such circumstances, Kang Xinmu alone was delaying more than 10 fanged hounds. Although the situation was very dangerous, it still bought a lot of time for Jiang Yuaning. Jiang Yuaning kept releasing moonlight blades to force the fanged hounds to retreat. Then, she kept retrieving the demon cores of the earth demons from the corpses. Soon, she had obtained about 20 demon cores of the earth demons. At this time, there was a sudden change in the distance. After such a long time, Jiang Shenwu had already completely devoured one of the fanged hounds. Just as he was about to bite the 2nd fanged hound and devour it, the fanged hound demonic beast leader suddenly howled and rushed towards him. The leader of the fanged hound demonic beasts was a powerful 5th-layer earth demon. Even if Jiang Shenwu had devoured a 4th-layer earth demon, he would definitely not be able to resist it. After all, fanged hound demonic beasts mostly controlled their physical strength. Even if Kang Xinmu had devoured the fanged hounds, he would at most be able to increase his strength. However, he would not be able to resist the sharp claws and bite of the leader of the fanged hounds. After all, the fanged hounds possessed, 4,000 it wasn't the elemental power. This made Kang Xinmu's devouring ability to increase his resistance to fight against the fanged hounds. However, it could hardly play a big role. It could only slightly increase his strength. Seeing that the leader of the fanged hounds had unexpectedly rushed over, Kang Xinmu's heart moved. He understood that the green ape demon beasts must have let it go. On the battlefield, there were about 50 dead green ape and fanged hounds. Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning had taken away 20 demon cores of the earth demons. This could be considered as a mercy to the green ape demon beasts. They mainly wanted to use the strength of Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning to weaken and disperse the fanged hounds. But now, the green ape demon beasts had achieved their goal. So, they directly gave up on obstructing the leader of the fanged hounds. In this way, the leader of the fanged hound demonic beasts directly charged towards Jiang Shenwu and the other 2 martial artists. As for the green ape demonic beasts, they spread out and, under the leadership of their leader, charged towards the battlefield and surrounded all the fanged hound demonic beasts that were trying to escape with the corpses. This was a counterattack by the green ape demon beasts. The main opportunity for the counterattack was that Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning had attracted the attention of the leader of the fanged hounds. This made the fanged hounds almost leaderless and unable to face the encirclement of the green ape demon beasts. These demonic beasts were not fools. If it wasn't for the appearance of Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning, the fanged hounds would have definitely won the battle between the 2 demonic beasts. Unfortunately, the appearance of Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning gave the green ape demon beasts an excellent opportunity to snatch the spoils of war. Run! Kang Xinmu was sure that he was no match for the leader of the fanged hounds. Seeing that the leader of the fanged hounds was rushing towards him, he immediately flew towards the sky, trying to escape. The Moonlight Star Dragon carried the 22 monster cores of the Earth Demon and directly flew up. Then, the power of the moonlight condensed into a blade light and continuously slashed towards the fanged hounds that were chasing after them and the fanged hounds that were biting Kang Xinmu. Soon, the fanged hounds that were biting Kang Xinmu were forced to retreat by the moonlight blade light. However, there were still 4 fanged hounds that flew up with the body of the black dragon. For Kang Xinmu, the biggest threat was not the fanged hounds that were biting him, but the leader of the fanged hounds that was rushing towards him at an extremely fast speed. Chapter 38-35. Kong Shinmu fled at lightning speed. The black dragon traversed through the dense forest. However, the fanged hound demonic beast leader rushed over at an extremely fast speed and leaped high into the air. Seeing that he was about to grab the black dragon's body, Kong Shinmu instantly descended and reverted to his human form. Several fanged hound demon beasts that were biting his body instantly fell from the sky. Kong Shinmu landed in the middle of the jungle. No matter what, he couldn't let himself be caught by the fanged hound. Otherwise, the fanged hound would be able to tear his black dragon body into pieces. Therefore, he directly reverted to his human form. The huge black dragon body suddenly disappeared from the dense forest. The fanged hounds were all stunned. Obviously, they didn't expect the dragon warrior to escape like this. After falling into the dense forest, if the fanged hounds continued to track Kong Shinmu, they would be able to catch up with him quickly. However, they didn't have the time to chase after Kong Shinmu. This was because more fanged hound demon beasts were being chased and besieged by the green ape demon beasts. Many fanged hound demon beasts were howling miserably. This made the fanged hound leader turn his head back. If he could directly kill Kong Shinmu, then, 4,000? The fanged hound demonic beast leader would not hesitate to kill Kong Shinmu before turning back. But now, Kong Shinmu was hiding in the dense forest. If they wasted more time on him, the fanged hounds behind them would suffer more casualties. This was an unbearable loss for the leader of the fanged hounds. Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning finally escaped safely. Once again, the two of them hid in the dense forest at the side. While counting the spoils of war that they had just obtained, they observed the following situation in the battlefield. A total of 26 Yao cores. 19 of them are third-layer Yao cores, and 7 are fourth-layer Yao cores. I didn't care about the demon cores of the second and first-layer earth demons. Jiang Yuaning counted and did some calculations. She had temporarily obtained 95 demon-slaying points from this operation. It could be said that this was equivalent to the spoils of war that most people would obtain in 3 days of demon-slaying experience. However, it was still a little short of the effect they wanted, so they didn't leave immediately. Instead, they continued to observe. On the battlefield, the fanged hound demon beast leader and the green ape demon beast leader quickly clashed again. After blocking the green ape demon beast leader, the green ape demon beast leader's slaughter of the fanged hound demon beasts was not as smooth as before. Since the other party had caught up to them, the fanged hound demon beasts all put down the corpses in their hands and casually landed in the middle of the forest. Then, they charged towards the group of green ape demon beasts to counterattack. This gave Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning another chance. Quietly, Jiang Shenwu and Jiang Yuaning glanced at each other and nodded to each other. Then, they split up and moved stealthily from the dense forest to the battlefield of the two monster beasts. Then, they stealthily dragged away the corpses of the monster beasts that had fallen on the edge of the forest, took away all the monster cores, and put the corpses back to their original positions. If the demon beasts paid a little attention, they would know that the corpses no longer had Yao cores. However, both sides were in an intense battle now. In addition, Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning's movements were extremely sneaky, so such a small action was not discovered by the two demon beasts. Soon, the two of them each harvested a dozen or so Yao cores. Seeing that most of the corpses on the field had been taken care of, they split up and hid in the dense forest. Then, they gathered on a giant tree in the distance. How was the harvest? After Kong Shinmu and Jiang Yuaning had split up, they gathered together again. The first thing they did was to calculate the harvest of this second operation. It didn't take long for the two of them to come to a conclusion. In total, they had obtained 22 demonic cores, which gave them more than 80 demon-slaying points. This operation could be said to be a perfect success. The Fanged Hounds and the Green Apes were still fighting each other. The Fanged Hound demon beasts wanted to retreat, but they were firmly chased by the Green Ape demon beasts. It was impossible for them to retreat safely. They could only leave behind a pile of corpses and escape, or fight to the death with the Green Ape demon beasts. In the end, the Fanged Hound demon beasts paid the price of half of their lives and dragged away a small portion of the corpses. It could be said that they had suffered a great loss. This operation was supposed to be a big profit for them. However, because of Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning's appearance, they were unable to gain any benefits. As for the Green Ape demon beasts, they had also paid the price of 30 to 40 earth demons. As the party that had been attacked, they had naturally suffered a disaster for no reason. In the end, although the Fanged Hound demon beasts were repelled, when they searched for the spoils of war, they discovered that many of the corpses had lost their Yao cores. In other words, the final compensation they received was basically consolation. It was completely unable to make up for the losses that they had suffered. In the end, the ones who had benefited the most were naturally Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning. When the two demon beasts had ended their battle, the two dragon warriors had long since left the vicinity and headed deeper into the Sky Herald Forest. Now that they had obtained more than 170 demon-slaying points, if this had been the previous demon-slaying experience, the first place would definitely have been theirs. But this time, with the Sky Dragon's successor Jiang Liuxue in the North Prefecture, no one knew how many demon-slaying points Jiang Liuxue had obtained. If they wanted to secure the first place, Kang Xinmu absolutely could not relax. They had to fight until the last moment. I wonder how Jiang Liuxue is doing now. Given her strength, what level of earth demons can she kill? Jiang Yuaning could not help but sigh. Once a dragon warrior with the Sky Dragon's bloodline transformed into a dragon, their bodies would be hundreds of feet long. Just by relying on the brute force of their bodies, they could suppress most earth demons below the 5th layer. Even if it was a 5th layer earth demon, once the Sky Dragon's successor used his techniques, he could easily kill it. This kind of strength completely surpassed the combined strength of Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning. Moreover, not to mention the fact that the two of them had just made a fortune, if they could do such a thing, why couldn't others? Moreover, if Jiang Liuxue had done such a thing, she might have gone to the 6th or 7th layer earth demon beasts to wait for her prey. She would definitely have obtained more points than the two of them combined. Of course, Jiang Liuxue had inherited the Sky Dragon's blood essence, so she would definitely be proud and arrogant. She would most likely not be willing to do such an ambush. However, Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning really could not imagine how many earth demons Jiang Liuxue had killed. Chapter 38-36. The Fanged Hound Demon Beast Group and the Green Ape Demon Beast Group quickly fell into an extremely fierce battle. Some demon beasts quickly died on the hillside of the jungle, but their monster dawn were not taken away, because in a short period of time, the other side would not have the leisure to take away their monster dawn, so they immediately threw themselves into an even more intense battle. Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning watched from the side. Their hearts were somewhat restless, but they understood that this was not the best time for them to appear. When both sides were almost done fighting, the two of them would be able to gain the most, and it would also be safer, because in the Sky Drive Forest, if these demon beasts saw a dragon martial artist, they would most likely join forces to kill the dragon martial artist first. There were also special circumstances, that is, when the other side's hatred was particularly high, it was possible that they would ignore the dragon martial artist and continue to pursue and kill the opponent. For example, now, Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning were waiting for the Fanged Hound and Green Ape Demon Beast groups to suffer increasing losses, and at that time, both sides' hatred for each other would be extremely high, so if Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning appeared again, they might not be attacked by the other two demon beasts. The two quietly observed the fierce battle in front of them from the side of the jungle. Even if the Fanged Hound Demon Beast group was well prepared, when attacking the Green Ape Demon Beast group, they also suffered a lot of losses, but in comparison, the Green Ape Demon Beast group suffered a sudden attack, and obviously, the losses were much higher. The Fanged Hound Demon Beast group soon lost 3 or 4 of its members, but at this time, the Green Ape Demon Beast group had already been killed by the Fanged Hounds, and on both sides, the Fanged Hounds had killed more than a dozen Green Ape Demon Beasts, and as for the 4th and 5th Earth Demon Beasts, there were no casualties for the time being, but they had already fallen into a fierce battle. This made it even more impossible for Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning to act rashly. If the other side had 2 5th Earth Demon leaders to attack them together, they would absolutely not be able to escape. The Fanged Hound Demon Beast was extremely fast, especially when chasing prey in the forest. Even if the dragon martial artist was a dragon, it would be difficult to escape their pursuit. Dragon martial artists could fly, but the flexible Fanged Hounds could catch up with a very fast speed, and then jump hundreds of meters high, directly bite the body of the dragon martial artist, and then use various means to tear the body of the dragon martial artist. An excellent hunter must have excellent patience. Jiang Yuaning and Jiang Shenwu did not act rashly. Even though 30 to 40 earth demons had already died in the territory of the Green Ape demonic beasts, the two of them did not rush out rashly. If the losses on both sides are too great, it is very likely that the battle will stop. If the losses on both sides are too great, it is very likely that the battle will stop. After all, the purpose of the Fanged Hound demonic beasts was not to exterminate the Green Ape demonic beasts, but to obtain a certain amount of food and resources. They especially wanted to plunder the demon cores of the Green Ape demonic beasts, which could enhance the strength of the entire Fanged Hound demonic beasts. After killing some Green Ape demon beasts, the Fanged Hound demon beasts would most likely begin to retreat. If this was the case, it would not be good news for Kang Xinmu and Jiang Yuaning. However, even so, the two could only continue to wait, otherwise, they would only be courting death. Soon, the battle between the two sides became more and more intense. More than 15 Fanged Hound demon beasts had fallen to the ground. Not all of them were dead, but at least they were seriously injured and could no longer continue to fight. Although the Green Ape demon beasts were not prepared for a battle, they were born with extraordinary strength, and their bodies were extremely strong. Moreover, after a period of time, they had gradually adapted to the surprise attack of the Fanged Hound demon beasts, and gradually became braver and fiercer. Of course, at this time, at least 40 Green Ape demon beasts had been killed, all of which were Earth demon beasts, including 2 4th Earth demon beasts, who had been seriously injured and could no longer fight. However, the young Green Ape demon beasts were not targeted by the Fanged Hound demon beasts, because these young Green Ape demon beasts had not reached the Earth demon beast level, so there was no value in killing them. Even if they killed them, they would not be able to obtain their demon cores. At this time, Kang Xinmu saw that many Fanged Hound demon beasts began to rush into the territory of the Green Ape demon beasts, and drag the dead and wounded Green Ape demon beasts outside. Obviously, the Fanged Hound demon beasts felt that they had obtained enough spoils of war, so they were ready to leave with the dead and wounded demon beasts. Even the corpses of the dead Fanged Hound demon beasts were dragged outside at an extremely fast speed. Even if they were of the same species, but they also had demon cores in their bodies. Since they had died in the battle, it was not a big deal for their demon cores to be eaten by their own kind. This was a very common thing among the demon beasts, but it was a bit unacceptable for the dragon warriors. The Fanged Hound demon beasts had killed so many Green Apes, so how could the Green Ape demon beasts let them leave so easily? When the Fanged Hounds brought their spoils of war and prepared to retreat, the Green Ape demon beast clan's counterattack became even more intense. However, the leader of the Fanged Hounds, who was at the 5th layer of the Earth demon beast clan, stood in front of the rest of the Green Ape demon beasts, protecting them as they retreated. With the fifth Earth Demon Beast leader blocking the Green Ape Demon Beasts, the Green Ape Demon Beasts were unable to break through, because the speed of the Fanged Hound Demon Beast leader was too fast, and any Green Ape Demon Beast that wanted to chase after them would be blocked by the Fanged Hound Demon Beast leader. After fighting for so long, the Green Ape Demon Beast leader was unable to deal with the Fanged Hound Demon Beast leader. The Green Ape Demon Beasts were very strong, but the Fanged Hound Demon Beast leader's speed surpassed them, not to mention that the Fanged Hound Demon Beast leader had reached the 5th Earth Demon Beast level, and the power of the earth had strengthened its speed, making it move as fast as lightning, and ordinary existences simply could not catch up with it. Kang Shinmu looked on from the side, and couldn't help but swallow his saliva. If the Fanged Hound Demon Beast leader's speed was the same as that of the Blackthorn Pigs, then Kang Shinmu would have died hundreds of times. There was no doubt that even Kang Shinmu would not be able to escape the pursuit of the Fanged Hound Demon Beast leader. The speed of the Fanged Hound Demon Beast leader was at least twice as fast as Kang Shinmu after transforming into a black dragon, and its instantaneous burst of speed was even more terrifying, leaving only an afterimage in its original place. However, now was not the time for him to lament. Yuaning, it's almost time to make a move. Kang Shinmu squinted his eyes and stared at the situation on the battlefield. Now that the Fanged Hound Demon Beast leader wanted to stop the Green Ape Demon Beasts, it couldn't help the Fanged Hounds behind it. Moreover, the Fanged Hounds were dragging at least 3 Green Ape and Fanged Hound corpses, and the beast cores were still inside them. If he were to sneak attack these Fanged Hounds, he would definitely have a lot of harvest. Moreover, with so many Green Apes dead, Kang Shinmu did not believe that the Green Apes would give up on the Fanged Hound Demon Beast leader to attack him and Jiang Yuaning. The best time to make a move was now.